is the big time players who are sitting to our right. They're going to be taking you guys through the FOMC. Adair's going to be giving you the coverage. We're going to have it all. Stay tuned with Trader TV, baby. We got the FOMC covered for you. Big boys are that way.
We're long contracts, baby.
Boom.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah, it is Fed Day and 25 basis point cut. That's what we're going to get in 12 minutes, 13 minutes, 12 and a half minutes, whatever it works out to. That's the overall, that's the overwhelming expectation, everyone sort of comes back on in here. So we do get a few extra things at least. This time through, we'll get the dot plot, of course, at 2:30. We're going to have Fed Chair Powell hit the podium as well. There'll obviously be some prepared remarks, then you get that Q&A, right? This is going to be dovish, it's going to be hawkish. So when you get that quarter point cut, what are the indications for the rest of the year? Because the market is tuning in and wants to know if they're going to get those expected further cuts. Another couple of quarter points are expected throughout the end of the year, and that's the indication I think we're looking for. The market couldn't have been any different today, more different, because you had the Nasdaq essentially trending down all morning, and then you had the Russell IWM actually trending up on rate cut day. So if we were to get some kind of a surprise, I think IWM moves the most, but I don't think we're getting a surprise, everybody. The same.
We have the wrong position board up, so they'll get that fixed in a second.
Yeah, we're on early, that's all.
Yeah, it's okay. I just...
Yeah, we just had the wrong position board. We'll get that fixed up. I just wanted to say STUBHUB. Yeah, it's down. What a surprise there. So you're now down underneath some of those levels that we all thought were very important, and 23.50 is where the prices, if you guys got filled, that's probably where you are. It does open up at 25.35, and it's a story of two trades for me as we went upside and downside right there with STUBHUB. So yeah, we busted it through, made some money there early. We didn't go up that much. My best fill was actually about 80 cents, 26.25 or so is the high end there. And then we fell back through. Once we broke through 25 bucks, we got punched out, of course, of what we had left, and that left us at 24.75, so about 25 cents excuse me, worth of slippage. And then once we broke 24.35, I mean, it doesn't matter. Once it was going down, I paid for shorts by the time that registered and everything. Then I just shorted the move back down in right now. So now we're sitting in $1.40 short. So there you go, right? It's we talk about many different ways to trade IPOs. So there's the long and there's the short right here. So yeah, I mean, this is actually going to turn out to be maybe even a better trade than the first one. So yeah, happy overall. Could always be better. I think that's true of like most trading. You could always have, you know, made different or better decisions, but I think we did good here with STUBHUB. So there it is. We only have one little small piece left. Fed rate decision coming up in 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing you got to consider is you should keep an eye on the overall market. Obviously, we'll have a quick look at the 10-year, see how that's doing. Maybe it affects the dollar. Just know where you want to play. Know what you're going to be looking at. Like if you're trading like an individual name, right? Like make sure maybe you have some small capper that you don't think, or like a micro cap that doesn't care about the market. But you know, if you're trading anything that has any kind of correlation with the Nasdaq or the S&P, just understand what happens at 2 o'clock because you're going to get a bit of a whipsaw action. So not much move in the 10 years, still around just over like that 4% mark. But we have been, as I said, trending to the downside. Now I've got eyes on open. I was joking in the chat, like maybe Martin Shkreli's actually out of this thing. Maybe he just took the.
We don't know his position size. We don't know.
No, I don't know. I just know that he said he had 936. So I'll be curious to see. He said he was going to do some updates. I'm just curious. It's not going to be large enough that it matters. But remember, Open Door, there is a fundamental business here that is rate sensitive. So it actually falls into the category of names that you could look for a move here. If there was a surprise, I could see this thing spiking. If the market decides to take this as expected, and maybe we don't like the tone of Chairman Powell, then this is a stock that you could easily see fall. So I'm going to add this one up as something I'm interested in trading in addition to maybe looking at the IWM as well. But the first initial spike in either direction, right, which we usually get at 2 o'clock, I generally think the rubber band action. Like if we spike down, catching bids off the lows. If you spike up, find a good resistance level that you like. If you happen to be looking to play that action, and then come 2:30, start thinking more about the directional play that Chairman Powell sends us in. So that's sort of the plan of action. Usually want to be flat going into these things. But at the end of the day, just remember, at 2 o'clock, it's not as if you're expecting all you know what to break loose if you hear quarter point cut. Because it will come, it'll be 4 or 4 now. That's the expectation. I think we get that expectation. I'll be hands on the keys ready in case it's 50, but I'm not expecting that to happen.
Look, like most traders online, Skrelly will probably tell you he's out right around here, 850, 860, 880.
No,
You don't think he's going to say that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's see what he's doing. People are saying he's live streaming even right now, so then he's winning already because all you guys are watching him and he's probably making money right there, kind of like some of these other...
That's exactly why I don't think he's out, because he said he was going to get periodic updates, and then so there's a whole...
Did he post it on Twitter? Like, how do we know that what he was?
I saw it yesterday on X.
So he should be posting again on X.
The timing of the post was hilarious. Hilarious. I mean, well, whatever. I guess like, if you were in the stock, maybe you don't find it funny, because Hopendor was actually breaking out of the bottom, and then it was right around here that he said this is the position. You know, like it was, if you were technically timing when you were going to do it, this is when I would have done it. Right as it's trying to break out in the afternoon, like at 1:30 or so, that's when it took the shot to the downside. I think timing was, if you're going to do it, like whatever, it is what it is. Like no one has a law against it, so you know he's allowed to do that. But this is a stock to watch, I do think, for sure. This is a good one in the chat. Team PJCT. First of all, if you're in our chat, if you're not in our chat, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's a subs-only chat, so we can answer questions, and then you can be part of the community here. Powell says, good afternoon, and the markets tank. Well, we'll find out. There are prepared comments. At the end of the day, we'll already have a bunch of price action before leading into when Powell hits the podium. So we'll have a lot more before we even think about getting to Jerome Powell. So about 5 or 6 minutes to go. We'll expect to get that no change and go from there.
Okay, so...
Sorry, quarter point cut.
Yeah. Gold still relatively flat today as the Nasdaq goes down 0.37, as does the ES. So, you know, some things to trade here off the jump. I mean, you can look at gold. We can see if that starts to move, if it's a surprise one way or the other. This is a relatively uneventful event today, and we talked about the reason why is you do get this number. I'm going to get over here, man. I don't know what's going on with my PC here, but there it is. Let's just refresh like this and see what this shows. So still 90, now 96%. So now that 4% used to be 6, now just a little bit lower. So that's what we're going to be expecting right now from this, and it should be a good one. You know, you're in the right spot. We're going to have it for you. Adara we'll have the numbers immediately, and then if and when Adara goes through the thing is, it's always marked. They cross out the old words, and they redact statements, and then so we'll see what's going on. But yeah, we're excited for this. Interesting to see what winds up happening here with only 5 minutes to go. So NVIDIA's made its way all the way back as well. So good trade there. It's obviously my number one trade there is going to be NVIDIA for us on the day. But STUBHUB, I actually wound up making more money on NVIDIA than on STUBHUB. So, yeah, we're just waiting. I'm going to hold on to STUBHUB. I don't think you need to be long anything heading into this. Flat is probably the right decision right now heading into this number. So that's what will be. The TQQs, very interesting levels as well. There's not really a specific name that I think is going to go off right now. I mean, I think there's names we want to go long on. I think we want to be long the Nasdaq. I think we want to be long strong names, Google, things like that, that could wind up.
Google's bad today.
Google's bad today. That's what I mean. Like, I don't really expect anything. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening. 4 minutes away.
Yeah, I feel like if we get like a ramp to the upside, it'd be fun if we get some small cappers going. I know I was like morbidly hoping that BBAI would hold that breakout and maybe you'd see some of the small cappers go, but that hasn't happened. It's on my radar the same way Open is. I always want to type New York, like Nasdaq for BBAI. Like, doesn't BBAI seem like it just should be a Nasdaq stock, not in New York? I always feel that way. But I was long this all day, and looking for the breakout at 6. So this is on my radar. Like, if this breaks trend and we slam to the upside, I'll probably look to play the old VWAP long and maybe the retake of the 6 level here on BBAI for sure. Grunfeld asking, why is SoFi weak? I mean, the market trended down all day today, and SoFi trended down all morning yesterday. So like for individual stocks, there's a lot of things that were at highs and breaking highs that pulled back. And we can ask the why. if we want. There was no particular news here. It's not as if, like, I mean, look what happened to Google. Like, Google's down 1.5%. When it was just making fresh all-time highs today. Made a bit of a top and a turn, and it's Fed day, so maybe some people taking some risk off and taking some money off of the table. But I think those are the types of names that might give you the most juice, like things like a Google, things like a SoFi, if we do end up ramping here. But we have to see. As you said, the first thing you're going to hear, with about a minute or 30 seconds to go, we'll throw back to Adara to make sure the first thing that you guys see, or everybody sees, is what did the Fed do? And then we'll be able to get a reaction. We'll be live the entire time with live trades. And of course, like I said, Powell will be on the podium at 2:30. But let's go to the desk with Adara.
Yeah, I think before we get this rate announcement, which I will be bringing to you guys, I want to remind you what we're expecting. We are expecting a 25 basis point cut here. Now, it's also going to be interesting are these economic projections, what they're expecting the interest rate to be in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, the current, and then the longer term, right? So this could be pretty interesting. Right now, I guess longer term is 3%, current 3.9%, 1 year 3.6%. Let's see what ends up coming to fruition. I also think it's worth noting what were the FOMC, the CME FedWatch was expecting for the October meeting. As of right now, the implication is if we get a 25 basis point cut today, we'll get another one in October. That's about 73% chance here of that rate being around 400 by October. Let's see if that is the case, and we'll send you back to the guys quickly.
All right. Yeah, I think that was the most important thing there was to try to find out where the next couple cuts are coming, right? I mean, I think they have enough ability to be able to spread them out now. As the market, you're not really getting too many negative headwinds or anything like that with jobs or with the inflation prints have all come in pretty much as expected. The jobless claims was a little bit hotter than expected, which is what spiked that thing for a quarter rate point cut, right? And you also have to understand we do have President Trump that's going to be commenting on this as well, right? And so we will just figure it out. We're looking for that quarter point. It's going to be coming out with 1 minute left. That's going to be a big day, but monumental because I think it's the start of the next rate cut cycle. Exactly. And I think that's the big thing. And it's something like the stock market has been up in the next, I think it was like 10 to 12 months, 18 of the last 18 times that they started to cut or something like that. There's some ridiculous stats out there that if you look down the line, this is a positive. No matter what winds up happening today, this is a positive. Why don't we just stay here for the Fed rate, then we can show it. All right, whatever you guys want. If you want to go have Adara read it, you can do that. Let's go over to Adara.
Yeah, I'll just be here so that you guys can actually see the numbers live as I get them. Again, forecast here, 4.25%, so that 25% basis point rate cut. Then again, we're going to be looking to see the dot plot or the expectations heading forward. We're going to look at these numbers. I'm going to quickly read out the numbers specifically for the cut, and then the number, and then we'll go back to the guys at the desk. Right now, interest rate decision here for the September meeting is, I'm just waiting for this to populate on my computer. Okay, we'll go back to the guys.
25 points. We got it. So it's right there already. There goes 25 points. There goes the Nasdaq. Nice little move to the upside right there for the NQ. So here we go. Again, kind of a nothing burger. The market just went up 0.2%. We'll see what's going on. So there is the quarter point basis point cut right there. So we are now in. The Apple bumping up 40, 50 cents. We've seen bigger moves than this before. Tesla right now as well trying to do something.
Looks like IWM.
Up to 423. Yeah, IWM. Nasdaq pulling back a little bit, IWM going a little bit there, but yeah, no trades over here. I'm just into STUBHUB. That's it.
Yeah, IWM did a bit of a push here, but it was as expected. Even if it was a surprise, obviously that would be a different story. I looked over, Open Door tried to squeeze through the high of the day as well, but you're already starting to get back a little bit. So the old rubber band action is very much in play here as we're starting to come right back in. IWM pretty much back to the highs. Adara, update?
Yeah, I want to talk here a little bit about the expectations. Right now, the Fed median projection is showing 50 basis point more rate cuts in 2025. So they're expecting an additional 50 basis points of rate cuts for the rest of the year. There was one dissenting vote, and it was new Fed Stephen Miron. Stephen Miron was the single dissenting vote. Perhaps unsurprisingly, he did elect for a 50 basis point cut, but the previous two dissenting votes, Bowman and Waller, looks like they did not dissent as far as I can tell at this meeting. We now do have, compared to the previous forecast, a lower median rate forecast and in line, I guess, here for the median rate forecast in the next 2 years. Current rate forecast, though, also, again, lower. Back to you.
Yeah, so the market rate, thanks, Adara. Yeah, so
that's good.
We were just thinking that's probably pretty good. You don't want to have too much dissent there in the Fed. It shows that they're all on the same page right there. Gold does make a move down pretty good right now. So now gold's trying to break through those lows. But as you can see, the market just where we were when we started, we're slightly up a little bit. We did get a little bit of a bump pre-number, and then when the number came out, then there's that extension up there. There's like everybody pushing the buy button, and here it comes right back in a little bit. I was thinking about going long on the futures maybe with the TQQs, but it's not really giving me too much right there. 97.80 might be a play. I don't know. Like we'd said, it's kind of a nothing thing here.
Yeah,
so
NVIDIA is barely moving.
I feel like the market just climbs a little bit from here. I'm going to get in just a little bit now on the futures. Let's try. I mean, it was as expected. That's where it came out at. We'll just see. Well, let's just see if it wants to hold, man. There's 98. Where we came from, 97.70. Let's see. This has been a bouncing around situation for the last couple times. So we'll just wait to see if it takes out the top. That's the TQs. We're long right now. We'll get some out if it breaks. Oh, here it goes. It's breaking just a little bit here. So here we go, man. First position on right now. We're short STUBHUB, but we're not getting out of that one. And now we're into the TQQs. And there's a little piece out. So far, so good. Hey, man, 20 cents. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. We're making money again here on Fed Day. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe if it's your first time through. And if you have any questions that you want to ask us or engage with the chat, then make sure you hit that sub specifically. All right, NVIDIA is starting to break its range. I did take that break on BBAI at $6. Again, I had this one earlier.
Go.
But NVIDIA is starting to break out. If we take 171.5, I want to take the break of the local high here on NVDA. But I am into BBAI. Wanted to play a small capper with this day, because I think obviously rate-sensitive stocks are small cappers, and this one trying to go. But the next trade is going to be a shot here in NVIDIA. High of the day on BBAI, I'm holding through. It's only a few pennies away. It broke 6 earlier. But NVIDIA, I think, is the next opportunity here. If that one can go through 171.5, I'm taking her.
Yeah, all right, good. So hopefully that BBAI can go nothing burger for now in the market. But here we go, man. We're in the Qs. Let's hope BBAI can get going as well. But here goes the Qs right now. Nice trade so far. It's not that much of a face slapper, but we took a small position right here. So we go bang. We'll go, oh my God, I can't believe they did a quarter point. But there it is. They do a quarter point. Let's get some more out at 75. And there it is, man. 40 cents again. We're still working it. Nice upside play. I'm out of about 40%. So let's just wait to see where it goes at the high of the day. I was going to break through 99. Let's put an offer up there just in case we get going. We're going to hear, again, a prepared speech here from Powell coming through. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys. We're doing this live every single day. And more important on days like today, we can go over a couple names here in the market as we see fit. But right now, there goes Bitcoin sort of as we had thought. Let's see what Ethereum's doing quickly. 34 and change for ETHA. So I don't think it's doing that. Ethereum actually down right now on this. So not a great look there for crypto traders, but let's wait to see what winds up happening coming soon for ETHA. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, we're just waiting here. Again, 25 minutes until we get Fed Chair Powell talking. I do want to talk again about this dot plot. We don't get it at every meeting, but at today's meeting, it shows that the median projection here is that we'll get another 50 basis points worth of rate cuts over the rest of the year. There's only 2 more Fed meetings left, October and December. So the implication would likely be that we get 125 basis point rate cut at each meeting. But again, this is just kind of showing the estimates. I'm going to look here at the rate statement, see what changes have been made. But either way here, this dot plot, again, as I mentioned earlier, implying an extra 50 basis points worth of rate cuts for the end of 2025. 2 meetings left. Back to you.
Yeah, they haven't updated the website yet. Usually it takes a few minutes for them to get it. It's still 73% for October and 68% for December. It'll at least be a few minutes before you get any kind of an update there. So we actually BBA got to the high of the day, but I wanted to hold through. It rejected pretty much exactly, but I want to be a buyer of this. As long as the market isn't falling apart, then we want to be involved in it. NVIDIA, first look on the break, doesn't really go. I'll wait for VWAP. I always think that 230 is when you get more of a trend. So if we're not getting a quick scalp trade on the break, then I'm going to wait for a chance at the lows or a chance at the bounce off the volume weighted average price, something along those lines. And then when Powell comes through, then we can work something, hopefully, for a more trend trade. Open Door, wow, Open Door. The candle on Open Door was $1.25. $1.25 when nothing. It was a nothing burger. We got as expected, and it was to the downside. This might be a short underneath $10 in here. Do we have free locates on this? I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, we can short this one for free, but that was a big drop. $1.20 and then right back up and now back downside here in open door. If it can't hold $10, yeah, I'm not liking the looks of this one. I wanted this to break out the high, but you can't squeeze if you don't break out the top. Adara, again?
I think the most interesting thing here with this rate statement, here is a look. This is from CNBC comparing the last statement to this current statement. So anything that wasn't in this new statement that was in the last statement, it's been crossed out there in red, and they've added underlined in red the new comments. Regardless here, what is really interesting is that there is a lot of concern about employment. That's the main theme I noticed in the statement. They're saying that job gains have slowed. That wasn't in the prior statement. And they're also saying that downside risks to employment have risen. So they're more concerned here about employment. We've seen that reflected in Fed speeches, but this is the first time that we've seen it reflected in the FOMC statement to this extent. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Adara. Yeah, I mean, okay, so we still have something left here on the TQs, but once it started to break down a little bit, we wind up getting out. I'm not planning on getting out of this. Like, I'm going to wait to see us break the low of the day. Honestly, I mean, the Nasdaq's been moving downside there. I didn't really hear anything too bad. What I want to do is I want to get a little bit more. I just put some bids at 97.60 right into here. I think we don't have to wait for the absolute bottom to break, but if we break, below into 97.40, something like that, then I think that's when I'll get out of the rest. Where I'm not putting that much money to work here right now. I mean, the market is literally right back to where we started. So here's the break right there at 1 o'clock. Here's it falling right back in on expected rate cut day. So, welcome to the rate cuts. I mean, it's here. Everybody was like loving IWM on rate cut day. So if you liked it, hopefully you were long. I mean, like I said, nothing is rocket science, but you're only as smart as your trade. So if you thought IWM was going to go there, you could have just made $5. Because IWM was down here at 240. All you had to do is get long and hope that there was a rate cut, and there it goes right there to the upside. So I hope any of you guys touting IWM out there were able to be long before, because you weren't definitely not getting no movement. So I don't think you were scared of the downside. There goes IWM. We'll just wait to see. And again, that's the Russell. Should benefit more from lower rates. I mean, that was the basic idea.
A surprise would have been a different story.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no surprise. That's what I'm saying. Like, anybody that was touting IWM, should just made $4 there. Look at this. Here goes JP Morgan. Nice upside moving all the way back in. I just wanted to see how far we got there. 313. Nice little top there for JPM. Let's see if it wants to settle down. And Open Door's at a good spot, man. It's at $10. So, yeah, I mean, another key area here for Open. And right now, the door is closing.
Here's breaking the low of the day. Here's what I want to do. If you're new to the channel, then we got something called stock visualizer. So I'm going to restart it right now and explain. When you're typing in a symbol in the chat, make sure you include the $sign in front. Go $sign Palantir, go $sign open. That way we get an idea. Hey, what's moving the most? What is everyone interested in? Like, what should we be looking at? What can we talk about that you guys want? We want to make sure that we're covering the right things for you. So I see, look, if Open Door is moving, it seems to always be at the top of the list. That's just how it goes. But Tesla, Palantir, we'll always check back in on this as many times as we can throughout the afternoon. We do it all day long on the show, but obviously with the Fed here, there's going to be a lot of things that are moving. I don't think we talked about the move that, well, I'll put move in air quotes. For Bitcoin just now. And why I say move in air quotes, because it didn't move that much. No, I mean, we held 116, like we're right back at 116. Basically the entire inside range for Bitcoin. Didn't break the low. You could make an argument that maybe we broke out some of the highs from this morning, but not a heck of a lot. The biggest name to the downside to me was just Palantir. Like, if Palantir is the one that seems to be taking the brunt of this the most, down 5 points, as the market is certainly starting to reverse. All right, I got to go over my BBI, which is back at my VWAP. Well, my VWAP. VWAP is VWAP. Doesn't really matter, mine or the other. Rather holding our prior price from respect of where the buyers were all afternoon, or done. We break out and make a fresh low in the afternoon on BBI. I'm getting out. We bounce VWAP. I add to the position. We still have 20 minutes till this man hits the podium.
Damn, Powell.
That's the thing. We have 20 minutes till Powell hits the podium. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time, and I usually expect rubber band action until Big Papa. I mean, sometimes he pumps. We'll see what he does here today. Remember, he already, like, the big, with Jackson Hole was the big speech. Like that was the one that changed the tide. What I want to hear now is like confirmation that he's open to further cuts and that, they're still concerned about the labor market. Like I want to hear more about the labor market than I do about inflation.
Yeah. We're just going to hear these questions and answers, right? I mean, that's what it is. So, yeah, a couple rough takes here early as the market just continues to sort of do whatever it wants to do. I want to thank all 10,000 of you for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're going to go over a couple more names for you in just a second. Adara's got an update.
I just want to let you guys know here. Let's take a look at, this is just the market, but I want to talk about, I guess, how many Feds are projecting which outcome. So according to the dot plot, 9 out of 19 Fed officials are seeing 2 additional rate cuts in 2025. 2 of them are seeing 1 cut, and then 6 are seeing no more reductions. So 6 out of the 19 Fed members, just under a third of the Fed, are seeing that there will be no more cuts this year. For what it's worth, as mentioned earlier, the median projection is that we'll get an additional 50 basis points worth of cuts in 2025. Back to you.
Okay, so we got stopped out there on, we'll flush down that trade, and a small trade right there.
1/3 of the Fed sees no cuts, no further cuts.
I wasn't even really listening. Is that what she said? Okay. I don't know how. Well, I mean, I guess that's maybe why the market's turning around right now. I don't know why the Fed would say that, but we'll have to check out what's going on because they're supposed to be data dependent. So how the hell do they know that there's going to be no more rate cuts? I don't understand.
Exactly. For anyone asking why we're going down, like the market has priced in quarter point.
That was just the median projection, yeah, because they're all going to have their own opinions.
Yeah,
I'm just reading out the individual opinions, but then, the median projection is we'll get 50 basis points worth of cuts, likely, again, quarter point.
Yeah, so exactly.
So there are more cuts.
There are more cuts, but it's the descent that I think is the key. That's why the makeup actually matters so much here. And we're probably going to hear more about that. Remember, the other thing that's happening is we are expecting the president to speak at 3 o'clock. So not only will Powell be there, but he's usually not off the podium by 3 o'clock. So I don't know how that's going to work out. You might actually have the president and the chairman of the Fed speaking at the same time. We'll see. We'll usually try to have Powell up, and then we'll put the subtitles so you guys can follow along, make sure that you know what's going on there. But I do have a funny feeling sometimes we care a little bit more about what the Prez says than Powell.
$2.25 now. I mean, STUBHUB, see you later. Ciao. I mean, this is what you get for charging me all those fees all those years, STUBHUB. Right down there to the downside. Yeah, you're only valued at $8 billion. But yeah, there it goes. Nice move down in for STUBHUB. We're as happy as you know what. We'll props it all up for everybody that's trading some stubby hubby today as that gets going down into the downside. And there's $22 right now, looking like it wants to break right now. So we'll see what's going on there with that downside. And here goes the Nasdaq, and there it is again. So here we go, man. Nice little move. What's going on with gold? Crypto, sorry about it, Sharif and Joseph there. They were both telling us how they were extremely long crypto heading into this. It's been bad, horrible actually. 341 down to 339 for GLD. This is what IBIT looks like right now. I mean, the whole market, this is not a crypto related thing. I mean, the whole market's getting cracked. There goes IBIT to the downside as well. Here goes Ethereum to the downside as well. So yeah, there's going to have to be some pickup here somewhere right now in the market. It doesn't look like it's in either one of these. So Ethereum downside, IBIT downside.
Some of the treasury plays are getting hit hard. Like Ethereum, like BMNR just went 3 times the move that ETH did, which makes sense. If you're, that's the thing. When they're going down, if you're stuck in one of the treasury names, they're going to move a little bit more. Look, the market's trying to catch a little bit of a bounce here, but overall, this was an everything. Seemed like an everything dip, at least as far as I could tell. Pretty much nothing catching too much of a bid. Jump back over. IWM is trying to hold. Somebody said in the chat, IWM flying up, flying down. It just gave up the entirety of the move here. So all we have is like rubber band action in both ways. I want to double check on Alphabet. That Alphabet broke down way too much there. No strength. But Filippo, you're right. Stocks that were strong earlier, Caterpillar, Walmart, those are kind of things like defensive names catching a little bit of a bid off of these lows. I don't know if Walmart's much of a trade, though, on a Fed day for me. it's not the kind of stock that's going to move too much.
We have a new position. It is Apple. So I'm just going to try this Apple log. But right now, there's been 14 years and there's been 0 hacks at btcc.com there. So go check it out. You can trade Bitcoin up to 500 times, Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you just don't watch the pros. You trade like them. Regulated in US, Canada, and Europe. So most likely where someone is located that's watching this. Trader TV Live has an exclusive event with them. You can scan that QR code right now. Click that link in description as well to grab 15% off or 15% bonus on your deposit. That's btcc.com where the pros trade, and now you can as well. Okay, so now the market's trying to bounce back a little bit. Apple is not really, which makes me like this even more. So let's wait to see if Apple's starting to go now. We're long right here at 238.75. So we'll see if it wants to go. Hopefully the answer to that is yes. The futures are finally starting to get back to the upside a little bit right there. So there that goes. Let's see if Apple can also try to get back up to the upside. All right, we'll go over to Adair and then we'll get back to the markets.
Yeah, the Times reporting here that Palantir PLTR is going to be signing a 750 million pound deal with the UK during Trump's visit. It's worded in kind of an unclear way. If I get any more details, I'll let you know. But it looks like Palantir investing just under £1 billion London pounds here with the UK during Trump's visit. Back to you.
That seems like a really good lever that they'd be able to pull. Palantir, like, man, if Trump's going to be able to get Palantir deals with other countries, like that seems pretty cool. Look, I took, and this is going to be rubber band until 2:30, but the break back through the low of the day on NVIDIA into 170, bit of a refresher at the 170 level, just right into this like prior high here. So I just want to take these quick scalps. The breakout doesn't work, fine. The playback through the low of the day will work through. So far, the first move was down, so until Powell hits the podium, I'm kind of thinking we're short until he does something else, which will be in about 12 minutes. So quick little scalp trade on NVIDIA. But Palantir, that's, I mean, seemingly to me would be a good story for Palantir. It's just a weird day to try to react to news when it's a Fed day.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to reserve my thoughts on Palantir going forward till maybe tomorrow after things have settled down. But in a general sense, like Palantir, what I love, Palantir literally just bounced off the 50 period on the daily that it was holding before, which is a really big level. There's a good part of me that thinks like we can have like a quick little, maybe more of an end of the day kind of thing. Look for a potential swing here. Because someone was buying this thing at the 50 period moving average on Palantir for a while. And then that's where the bottom is today. And then news gets dropped. And if the market makes a fresh high, Palantir should work. I like this level on Palantir. It's about one, I don't know if we retrace back to it, that low, 161 now that we're bouncing. But yeah, positive news story can't hurt, but it's a Fed day. Hard to put too much weight into that news story for now.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, I love hearing that name, Palantir. You guys know that's a stock that we are hella long, but we've been getting some out. Actually, my last out was actually lower than here. I was at 160 flat, so we didn't have anything out higher. Apple not really doing anything right here. Neil just talked about NVIDIA a little bit. Let's check out to see if what Google's doing something now or not.
Amazon.
So yeah, once it settles down, which it's trying to do right now, then we'll be able to regroup and think about which names we want to take. Generally, the question and answer period will start. Adair will have some of that for us, and then we'll hear what they say. Someone's going to ask about some sort of a dot plot. What does it look like moving forward? So on and so forth. And that should be the answer to the question that we're looking for if this market wants to get a little higher or not. I want to buy Apple until we break 238. So it's not a greatest level down there at 238, but that's a level that I'm going to wait for. We're not using a whole bunch of shares. I want to see some kind of a movement here, and we're not really getting it. So that's what we're going to wait for now to hopefully come through is either a test again down here, and we can think about maybe buying that or go the other way and hit the short if we break some of the lows. But for right now, we're stuck on Apple and just wanted to take it. It was up on the day. The market was, relatively flat heading into this. We did have a nice downside push pretty much since the open, but there's the recovery. We got all the way back up to day's high or back to flat or so on the day, and then boom, fell back down in there as it looks like we may at most get those 2 quarter-point rate cuts in the next 2 meetings before we head into the new year. So in what was supposed to be a monster cut year, it looks like we're just starting now, and we'll see if the market appreciates that or not. There comes Apple.
10-year dropped under 4.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to look at some of these yields.
Yeah, the 10-year dropped underneath 4.
There goes Apple.
Kind of a big deal. We'll see.
There it is. Yeah, a little bit of a big deal. We're going to wait for that 10-year to move around again. But there goes Apple. We'll take out some mid-80s right now. Good level. Here we go. Nice little long there for AAPL. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, so we're happy. We'll go happy, joy. If the market retraces back to the upside, we can let this one go. I'm sitting at 238.92. There it is. We get that. Now we're sitting at 239. We almost get that right there, and there we go. We get that now, and there it comes right back up to the upside. Hey man, it's a 50-cent winner on some decent shares, so let's go Apple right now to the upside. Congratulations to all who believed in that trade, and I hope you followed it with me. There goes Apple upside.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. A couple of longs both work, and at the end of the day, this market wants more upside. I think that would be good. I mean, the 10-year coming down, certainly good. I'm going to keep eyes on that one. If we actually hold that trend to the downside, this can easily work. And the more important thing is, while we got a little bit of dissent, like some notion that maybe it's not unanimous, overall we're still on track for that 75 for the rest of the year. Just in case you're tuning in right now, it was quarter point like expected, but we're still on track. Market priced in another quarter, another 2 quarter point cuts to the end of the year. There's been no change in that. So when Powell hits the podium, the way that he would throw any cold water on that would be to start talking up inflation or concerns about inflation and overshadowing what we've seen in the labor market. That we just want to make sure that we stay on track with these 2 quarter points. That's the thing that could be a shock in about 7 minutes or so. Victor, if you just woke up, why the crash? The rubber band action. A lot of times...
Crash?
Well, it's not a crash. It's just a reversal in the market. A lot of times what will happen is if it's as expected, you get like a run one way, run some stops one way, run some stops the other direction, and then look for some kind of a distinct direction. All you had was a fail at the high, a fail at the low, and now we're sort of diddling in the middle. So play a little momentum, but until 230, that's when I think things usually get more distinct, where you tend to hold one way until Powell's done talking.
Yeah, this is we've seen more moves on a random Tuesday afternoon when somebody sneezed and hit their keyboard. So I'm going to hold off on this. Let's see if Apple can continue to go higher, man. I mean, for me, this is a great trade. We're almost $1 in. We're 75 cents in on that one. Thank you for all the talk there on the chat. Let's go over to another name here about this. What's going on with Uber right now? Yeah, Uber had a rough go today because I wrote it down at $90 maybe to buy some of this. But yeah, we're right down into the 50-period moving average. We talk about buying good companies, and I mean, there was the 50, there was the 50, that broke. And now we're back at the 50 again. So we can watch out for sure to see what Uber wants to do in and around these levels. Go Apple right now. We still have 60% of that trade. So if you guys are in this with me, congratulations. It looks like it's working out so far here with AAPL. Yeah, coming up in 5 minutes, we will get the Q&A there, so we'll hear that from Powell. That should be interesting for sure as we go. So we'll have to wait to see if the market wants to move off of that anyways. There's more outs. Like this is what we've been doing. Buy there, brrr, upside. So that's, again, pretty good looking trade there for me as we wait and see what happens now with Apple and Fed Chair Powell. The SOXL, NVDA, all those kind of things starting to move around again a bit, $30.50. I don't know, we could check out, maybe we'll have to check out Open Door, but
it's still like everyone.
It's still $10, yeah.
It's actually, no, at 10, they're right underneath $10.
Okay, so yeah.
It hasn't been able to regain 10.
Much.
And just keep in mind, look, I know it's the top name on the list. Tesla's going to be number 2 in here. SoFi we can look at, but most of everything is the same rubber. Like it's just break down, hold the low, and get back to the upside. The difference is Open Door could squeeze some people, obviously, because it's heavily short floated. So if this were to ever take out the top, it could potentially be built different. That's all. Tesla, no different from anything else. I see that one on the list. Maybe a little stronger move, bounce. But we were sitting at 420 when the print hit, went up $5. We can't get back to that 420 level or get above it. I want to see something that's able to press through where we were. Like if you can press through where we were at 2 o'clock and then show some oomph, that's a little bit more fair, and we can get resuming the uptrend. So Tesla not really doing it. I saw SoFi was on the list here under VWAP. SoFi is a weak name to me. If you were weak going into it, prove to me that you're strong. week today, SoFi. I don't want to get it twisted. SoFi made an all-time high yesterday, or 52-week high yesterday. So it's not a weak stock in general, but it's a weak stock today, unless it can press out and make some highs. I almost think this is a fade. My eyeballs are going to be on three things: Palantir, Open Door, and NVIDIA. Want to see if we can get NVIDIA off the low one more time before Powell hits the podium. Ideally, Open Door can get back above the $10 level. I'd love to see it start to squeeze. I'd prefer to be long this stock. It's just not looking like much of a long yet here on Open Door.
Let me check out what people want to do here. I mean, we just took out $1 there pretty much on Apple, so it only got to 45s. We took it out at 45. We're long at 52. Okay, so Open. I thought you said you reset this.
I did. Every time you reset it, Open always comes back.
But 172, we don't have that many people in there.
Oh, you know what? When you reset, it only updates for me. Like, it's weird.
What?
The same thing happens when you reset it. I still have the whole day.
394 subs. I just did it again. Okay. All right. So we'll see. Yeah, they'll get it figured out on all of that. But yeah, this is what you got to do. Oh yeah, Webull. We can have a quick look at Webull. That's getting killed right now. $12, $13 right now for Webull. Oklo today downside as well, as we just saw that one. They're down 4% for Oklo. There's gold trying to move finally right now. We can have a quick look to see what gold's doing. I mean, that's always interesting. So let's have a quick look over there. But there it is. Now we are officially. Look, man, I mean, traders, we talked about it. Traders going to trade. We tried the TQs. We tried Apple. We're holding Apple. We've got exactly half left right now. So big time movement right here. Paying for dinner tonight, as we had some of those talks earlier. Yeah, Baxter is coming down. So my kid from university is coming down. So that's going to be a little more expensive. So we're paying for it right here. So thank you, Apple, for that. And there it goes. Nice move right here up to the upside as we plant those red roses. And it's a good one. So nice upside moon. There it is. What's up, Rivian Millionaire, and everybody else that's in the chat? What's up to Dan? Thank you for the birthday wishes there as well. Yeah, we're just doing what we do best here, man, and that is trade. So there goes Apple. We already hit, StubHub's already $2 in the money. We hit StubHub long, then we hit it short. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about right there. The trade that we have, our trade of the day for me anyways, P&L wise, is this NVIDIA trade. We had it real early at the beginning of the day. When we broke down, we took that short the whole way, gave us multiple dollars. It reloaded back at VWAP, gave us multiple dollars again. And then just before Fed, well, it was 140, it broke VWAP and I got out there and wish we would have kept it as we went back in to the lows of the day. But yeah, that's NVIDIA. That's the trade that's holding for me right now. I'm going to get out of some more Apple here, see if I can offer 50s, see if we get that. Hopefully we do. We did not. We missed it there. So I'm going to offer, maybe we'll get, there it is. We got it. So there it is. Nice one there. That's another one. We'll props it up to everybody as well. Hopefully some of you have, like I said, some of these plays. But there it is. So far, so good. Tesla, they're all not moving. Like I wish there was more
Tesla's trying to move. Tesla's trying to go. It's trying to break that 420 level for sure. Let me know, Fabian. Or Andre, if we're good to go. But Tesla's trying to break that 420. I did still try. I want this to break that that $10 level. But Open Door, I punched long when it broke 10, and immediately 100,000 on the offer at 2. Like it breaks 10, 100,000. I got long 01, and there's 100,000 shares on the 02 level. So there's still some sellers that you got to blow through here, unfortunately. But I want this one over the volume weighted average price. If it closed above, I don't mind taking shots at it, but I'm not going to start fighting this thing. But I do want to shout out to Oragenics here, as each year 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S. Yet there's no FDA-approved treatment. NYC-listed Oragenics is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With a concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. And let's go to Adara. You know who.
Chair Powell is now, in fact, on the podium speaking here for the Fed. I will keep you guys posted with any updates. I'll either say them out loud and also check the position board because I will have headlines popping through there as well if need be. Just prepared remarks right now. Back to you.
I got a 10% more here at 239.54 $1. So we'll just wait to see what we do from here. But Apple right now 239.50, trying to think about what it wants to do from here. So yeah, so far so good on all of these plays. We could check out. Oh, I did want to see what gold was doing because we did have GLD or GDX was one of the posts there. Yeah, unfortunately nothing. Right now, I think Bitcoin probably bounces. Why don't we go long IBIT? Let's have a quick little look. So down to that 65.30 area again, nice little hold there into the low of the day. Okay, now we're all right. Powell said there's downside risk to employment right now, so downside risks have risen right now in employment is what I just heard. So I think we already knew that. We saw jobless claims higher.
That's a positive
there. So moderation expected in GDP growth. That's not great, but I feel like that's fine. He says there is potentially consumer spending slowdown. Good enough for me. I'm going to punch out some more there at 50. Look, I'm just kind of sitting on my hands now. We've already planted our flag, and oh boy, was it a good one. Nice long there on Apple, and that's it. We got out of our... So just to show you guys, what I lost on the TQs is like 10% or a little bit more than what we'll make here on Apple. So it's like have your outs and boom right there, make money, lose money, and then make money back on Apple and just regroup and try to figure something else out. So yeah, we are going to hear Powell as soon as we get that figured out. Unfortunately, we can't broadcast Powell right now, but you could see it there at least.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like he's talking about labor demand softening here. It's causing a little bit of a move to the downside with when he's talking about the jobs market. But overall, as long as we hold the low, that can kind of confirm that he's not cratering us here. Let's go back to Derek, get another update.
Yeah, a lot of these comments here from Powell are reflecting what we saw happening in the statement as well, concerns about jobs, saying that apparently, the unemployment rate remains low, but it has edged up. He also addressed some concerns about GDP growth in the summer, saying that I guess it reflects weaker consumer spending. That's why it slowed down a bit. They also said that inflation has risen recently, and it does remain somewhat elevated with that unemployment rate edging. We know that they want lower inflation there and better employment, so that's still going to be a concern here for Powell and the Fed. Back to you.
Okay, and it looks like the quantum names are still doing absolutely fine. There was a growth sector, obviously. No one's actually made it better regrowth because none of these guys make any money, real money yet. QBTS, I see it, people mentioning it, still at the highs. There was a story on IonQ in particular, not necessarily these guys, but it was on sympathy that they're going to the upside. IonQ making an acquisition, Rigetti and QBTS still working. So even with the market pulling back, this looks like it's relatively strong. I'm going to dip back over to NVIDIA, see if it can't come right back into that same low as before. 169.5 is where it looks like it's trying to turn this time. Well, it's making a bounce in a different spot. Like last time it broke down through 169. This time it's trying to hold on to the half dollar. That prior low was like 169.25. I think that's kind of like the out spot. If the market's going to go, then you want to make higher lows. And overall, that's kind of an obvious thing to state. If we start making some trend down in, you don't want to fight it. If we make a fresh bottom through 169.25 where we got in last time, I'll get out and plays to the volume weighted average price and see if it can't press back up to where it was before at the end of the day. So I'm not really getting anything crazy from Powell here yet.
No.
You never know. Like Jackson Hole was so different because it was like instantaneous, like nonsense. It's a little bit different here. Sometimes it'll literally be when he leaves the podium that you get a big move.
Yeah, good luck with that NVIDIA trade. We've been getting out of more of our Apple. So here's basically what you need to figure out here. Fed Chair Powell says inflation has risen recently, so check, we know that. Remains somewhat elevated, check. Moderation in GDP growth largely reflects consumer spending slowdown. I mean, we saw that. We just talked about lower than expected retail sales as well. Market pushing lower right now. Payroll job gains have slowed significantly. Again, this is all data that we already know, reflecting lower immigration. Okay, well, that's part of the president's mandate. So lower participation labor demand has softened, job gains running below break-even rate, so that's not great. Inflation has eased. Inflation has eased from mid-2022 highs, somewhat elevated. Total PCs likely to rise 2.7 in August from core 2.9. So, yeah, this is not great there. I guess your NVIDIA's fallen down because Apple's fallen down right now, and we've got more news with Adara.
Yeah, and again, guys, keep an eye on the position board before I speak, because I will be putting the big headlines there to get a little bit of a jolt here in the market. Powell saying once again that the overall impact of tariffs on inflation remains to be seen. Like I said earlier, the biggest theme of Powell's comments today is that the Fed is still concerned about this, I guess, slight uptick or holding of inflation. It's not going down the way they'd hope, and employment is a concern. So concerns with both aspects of their mandate. And I guess worries that the tariff effect on inflation has not yet been seen. Market on watch here. Again, check that position board, the bottom third of the screen, for more headlines before I can say it out loud. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you, Dan.
We're just going to do audio for Powell.
Yeah.
So why don't we just do that, and we'll be muted. You can see our positions flying through. We'll put some more on. I'm long Apple. Neil's long. Oh, you averaged into NVIDIA?
No, it ran the bottom, but then it wicked out, so I jumped back in.
Nice,
if it wicks me out, I'm always going to jump back in. But before we do that, just quickly, thank you, David, for the super chat. Your dumb trade market fades to close. Point and pick, Gatorade shower, Powell at the podium would be epic. Good luck, David. You like the market fade, so we'll see. Let's put Powell up.
Is he up? I don't know. I can't.
The Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission, and we at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion.
Chris.
Great. Thank you. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. As you know, Fed Governor Stephen Myron has kept his position at the White House, even as he's joined the Fed board. This is the first time, I believe, the Fed's board has had someone with executive branch ties in decades. Does this compromise the Fed's independence from day-to-day politics? And relatedly, how can you maintain the public's perception the Fed is politically independent with this dynamic? Thank you.
So we did welcome a new committee member today, as we always do, and the committee remains united in pursuing our dual mandate goals. We're strongly committed to maintaining our independence, and beyond that, I really don't have anything to share.
Well, and then just as a quick follow-up, I'm sorry, can you and other Fed officials have spoken extensively about the impact of tariffs on inflation, although perhaps with many companies appearing to eat the tariffs, tariffs may be impacting the labor market and other parts of the economy instead. Do you see that as a possible outcome here, that tariffs are the reason we're seeing some slowing, particularly in the labor market, rather than in inflation? Thank you.
You know, it's certainly possible. You know, we're beginning to see, we have begun to see goods prices showing through into higher inflation, and actually the increase in goods prices accounts for most of the increase in inflation, or perhaps all of the increase in inflation over the course of this year. Those are not very large effects at this point, and we do expect them to continue to build over the course of the rest of the year and into next year. And you know, it's also possible that there may be effects on employment, but that I would say if you're looking at why employment is doing what it's doing, that's much more about the change in immigration. So the supply of workers has obviously come way down. There's very little growth, if any, in the supply of workers. And at the same time, demand for workers has also come down quite sharply, and to the point where we see what I've called a curious balance. It's, you know, typically when we say things are in balance, that sounds good, but in this case, the balance is because both supply and demand have come down quite sharply. Now demand coming down a little more sharply because we now see the unemployment rate edging up.
Nick Timmeros of the Wall Street Journal. Chair Powell, do economic conditions and the balance of risks no longer warrant a restrictive policy setting?
So I don't think we can say that. What we can say is this, that over the course of this year, we've kept our policy at a restrictive level, and people have different views, but a clearly restrictive level, I would say. So, and we were able to do that over the course of this year because the labor market was in very solid condition with strong job creation and all those things. I think if you go back to April and now look at the revised job creation numbers for May, June, July, and August, I can no longer say that. So what that means is that the risks were clearly tilted toward inflation. I would say they're moving toward equality. Maybe they're not quite out of equality. We don't need to know that. But we do know that they've moved meaningfully toward greater equality, the risks between the two goals, and that suggests that we should be moving in the direction of neutral, and that's what we did today.
Under what circumstances would a larger than 25 basis points rate cut be warranted, and how seriously was that option entertained at your meeting this week?
there wasn't widespread support at all for a 50 basis point cut today. You know, I think we've done very large rate hikes and very large rate cuts in the last 5 years, and you tend to do those at a time when you feel that policy is out of place and needs to move quickly to a new place. That's not at all what I feel certainly now. I feel like our policy has been doing the right thing so far this year. I think we were right to wait and see how tariffs and inflation and the labor market evolved. I think we're now reacting to, to the much lower level of job creation and other evidence of softening in the labor market, and saying, well, those risks are maybe not fully balanced, but moving in the direction of balance now, and so that warrants a change in policy.
Colby Smith with the New York Times. Should we be viewing today's cut as the committee taking out some insurance against the possibility that the labor market is at risk of weakening? Or is it the committee's view that the dynamics of a downturn are already in place? I guess I'm just trying to square the shift in the rate forecast in the SEP towards more cuts than just 3 months ago, with the fact that the forecast for unemployment didn't change.
Yeah, I think you could think of this in a way as a risk management cut, because if you look at the SEP, actually, the projections for growth this year and next actually ticked up just a little bit, and inflation and unemployment didn't really move much. So what's different now? What's different now is that you see a very different picture of the risks to the labor market. You've seen, we were looking at 150,000 jobs a month at the time of the last meeting, and now we see the revisions and we see the new numbers. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on payroll job creation, but it's just one of the things that suggests that the labor market is really cooling off, and that tells you that it's time to take that into account in our in our policy.
So just looking at the SEP once again, the median participant has inflation higher than previously expected by the end of next year, and
I wanted to say, obviously the more he talks, the more he's scaring the market. So I was just going to say, with this labor talk being a problem, I think that's the big warning for us. The fact that the labor market's cooling off, that's going to be something that's going to change policy. And you're going to see right there that could be what's bringing, and not could be, but that seems like what is driving down right now. I know I noticed you're out of that position. I'm still into Apple here. Apple is still fine, but the market is making new lows right now. So there's risks of higher inflation are less now than in April is what he's saying, but he's looking at the job market. And I think that's the one that's concerning us here the most. We talked about in Canada how it's a little out of control. I guess they're just trying to make sure that in the United States, with immigration going down, that hopefully this job market can stay stable. And that's the falling card, right? Because earnings are strong in this market. There's been it's been a great earnings season.
That's the rub. At the end of the day, the market has been doing fine with any weakness that you have in the labor market. But at the same time, we're at all-time highs here. It's a kind of a precarious spot for the Nasdaq. Really, or the ES, it doesn't really matter. We're already kind of tipping here, because none of this is necessarily bad news in terms of our expectations of what we're going to get for the rest of the year. However, it's how we interpret it. My gut feeling is there might be a wait and see by the dip period that we're looking forward to here. But again, I like what I'm hearing with regard to inflation. Because that's the other side of the coin. This is what you kind of want to hear from him out of inflation, that it's not, the risks aren't what they were. So that's a good sign, but this might be a wait till he gets off the podium kind of moment here, because there's buyers that try to emerge, but right now they're just continuing to sell it off at the end of the day here. So we'll see what else he has to say, but for now, the market doesn't seem to care that the shift on labor is good for our cuts. But it also could potentially mean some weakness in the overall economy. Bad news isn't always good.
We can go back to Powell and see if he's saying anything else importante. But right now, it looks like Apple is going to make that move back in here. So, we're not going to turn red. I know there's been a couple chases here so far, but it looks like right now the chase is to the downside as the market is breaking. The Nasdaq's now down 1% right now and looking to go lower. Let's go find out what Powell's saying.
That's literally how you put the projections together. You're writing down a rate path, which is designed to create, over the course of the SEP, time frame, 2% inflation and maximum employment too. So that's all that is. No one really knows where the economy will be in 3 years. But the nature of the exercise is to write down policy that you believe would return to the 2% goal over at least by the end of the exercise.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth Schulze with ABC News. The latest inflation report shows that prices are still going up across key categories for many households, including groceries. What will the Fed do if prices pick up more?
So our expectation, and you can see this consistently through the year, has been that inflation will move up this year, but that basically because of the effects on goods prices from tariffs, but that those will turn out to be a one-time price increase as opposed to creating an inflationary process. That's been our forecast. Pretty much all the individual forecasts say that. We can't just assume that, though, right? We have to. Our job is literally to make sure that that is what happens, and we will do that job. Right now, the situation we're in is that we see inflation. We continue to expect it to move up, maybe not as high as we would have expected it to move up a few months ago. The pass-through of the tariffs into inflation has been slower and smaller. The labor market has softened. So the case for there being a persistent inflation outbreak is less. And so that's why we think it's time for us really to acknowledge that the risks to the other mandate have grown and that we should move in the direction of neutral. So what will we do? We'll do what we need to do, but we have two mandates and we try to balance them. For a long time, our framework says that when our two goals are in tension, this is quite an unusual situation. How do we decide what to do? Because our tools can't do two things at once. What we do is we ask which is farther from, how far is each from the goal and how long is it expected to get to the goal. So, and then we think about those things and we see, as I mentioned, our policy had been really skewed toward inflation for a long time, really. Now we see that there's downside risk clearly in the labor market, and so we're moving in the direction of more neutral policy.
How concerned are you about the slowdown in the jobs market for households at home, especially younger Americans struggling to land a job?
So it's an interesting labor market, and obviously we think it's appropriate that we reduce our rates so that we become more neutral, which presumably will be better for the labor market. You see people who are sort of more.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in here and just give a shout out. If you're looking at the Qs and trading the Qs right now, Beta Pro's got something for you. They're bringing back its annual biggest winner simulated ETF competition, now with over $40,000 in cash prizes, including a $20,000 grand prize, and it's all risk-free. It's free to enter and open to all Canadians. You trade with $100,000 in fantasy cash on the Webull platform, and whether you're an experienced trader or just getting started, it's a chance to test your strategies, build skills, and climb the leaderboard. So you think you have what it takes to be the next biggest winner? Sign up today, and maybe the post-Fed moves will take you on your way. Just one note, as Powell's been talking, he single-handedly got the 10-year back above 4 and rallying back into the high. If that starts dipping back in here again, I think that's going to be the sign that we're catching a little bit of a bottom here. But we can get back to the chairman. Since he's been talking, yields going up, market went down.
It's been CNBC. Mr. Chair, in the past, during rate cuts, you used the word recalibration. And I wonder if you pointedly did not use it this time. And in fact, when you said policy is not on a preset course, did you mean that as sort of the opposite of recalibration? Are we meeting to meeting, data point by data point? Are we in the process here of getting back to neutral? Thank you.
So I think we're in a meeting by meeting situation. We're going to be looking at the data. Let me say a word about the SEP really here. So we often point this out. What the SEP is, it's an accumulation of the individual projections of 19 people, showing what they believe at a particular moment in time to be the most likely path for the economy and thus the appropriate path for monetary policy as well. And as you know, we don't debate or try to agree on what that is. We just write them down and accumulate them. We do sometimes discuss them. And so we always say we're not on a preset path, and we really mean that. The actual decisions we make are going to be based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks at the time the decisions are actually made. So you will have seen that we have 10 participants out of 19 who wrote down 2 or more cuts for the remainder of the year, and 9 who wrote down fewer then. In fact, in a good number of cases, no more cuts. So rather than looking at this as certainty, I would encourage people, as always, to look at the SEP as through the lens of probability. And so there are different possible outcomes and likelihoods rather than this one is certain and this one isn't happening. So that's what I would say.
Thank you for getting to my follow-up question, which was, is the dispersion in the outlook a sign of uncertainty of policy in the meetings to come? Thank you.
You know, it is such an unusual situation. Ordinarily, when the labor market is weak, inflation is low. And when the labor market is really strong, that's when you got to be careful about inflation. So we have a situation where we have two-sided risk. And that means there's no risk-free path. And so it's quite a difficult situation for policymakers. And it's not at all surprising to me that you have a range of views. It's not so much about having different views for the path of the economy, but it's partly that. But it's also partly about what's the right thing to do in light of this, of the tension between the two goals. How do you weight them? How worried are you about one versus the other? And so it's natural. I think it would actually be surprising if you didn't have a pretty wide range of views based, in this kind of highly unusual situation, and we do. So, but we get together, we discuss, we have a great discussion, and then we decide what to do and we act. But you're right that it's a wide dispersion of views, and I think that's understandable and natural in the current situation.
Hi, Victoria Guida with Politico. You've talked a lot about Fed independence and the importance of it over the years, but as markets have questions about what exactly President Trump's intentions are with the Fed, what would you point to as the things they should be watching to determine that the Fed is still making decisions based on, the economic outlook rather than political considerations?
Look, it's deeply in our culture to do our work based on the incoming data and never consider anything else. That's just, everybody who's at the Fed really feels strongly about that way. So, you'll know it by the way we talk about
gold tanking here, guys, down 1.1%. Let's check in on some of the Chinese names here quickly.
Volatility's at the highs right now, too.
Yeah.
The VIX is literally tipping at the top and looking to break out because of Powell.
Yeah, UVXY here. You can check them out. This is, again, a volatility index, and you can see starting to tick up to the highs right now and starting to go a little bit. But the market's just pushing down. The tone to me is just too negative. It's fine. I feel like when he gets off the podium, maybe we'll retrace a little bit back to the upside here. But remember, what started this day was downside. Like, we were downside pretty much the whole day. Then the Fed rate cut, bounced back off of around noon o'clock, 1 o'clock, as we had anticipation for this cut. And then whoosh, right there to the downside. I think the traders that are getting hit the most, and Fabian and Sharif aren't here, Fabian. Joe and Sharif aren't here. I don't know where they are during a rate cut, but we'll wait to see now. I mean, Bitcoin getting hit down to 14.8. I still think there's opportunity to buy some IBIT down here. So that would be kind of cool to get that opportunity to do that. So, a reload potential here for IBIT and then ETHA as well. If you liked it, that's what I was talking about. If they were just here, I'd like to hear their opinion.
Just on a weird note, when we got that Palantir positive news, I know it's a Fed day, but it stopped making lows. The market is continuously making lows. The Palantir news that came through that Adara mentioned is somehow, it's actually holding this stock up right now. So it's a little bit different from the overall Nasdaq. Palantir seems like it might just be built a little bit differently here. But I want to go back to the UVXY for a quick second. Because when we were talking about it breaking, it's not breaking out the range, but it's teetering at the top. It's hard to imagine we go really cratering down in anything big continuation without this possibly taking out that top. If it resists it, I think you can find some bottom picks, but I'm noting the actual strength here in Palantir relatively. And I think it's just seems like a safer play on any dips here with Powell. I mean, he'll be done at some point. We don't know when. And remember, 4 minutes. I don't know if it'll be on time, but the president is supposed to be speaking this afternoon. That's typically tends to move the markets. We know.
All right, so I'm going to try Apple again. We're flat on Apple throughout this whole time. I mean, we had some good moves up. We had some good moves up again, and then it just broke the bottom right now. So I'm going to go long here on Apple. We're long at $10.11 right now on Apple. Let's see if it can get there back up to the upside. He's getting a little long in the tooth. It's almost 3 o'clock right now. So here goes crypto. Crypto now bouncing back to the upside again. So just a quick look on some of the crypto names. I know not all of us are in crypto, so I'll make this real quick. A little bit delayed, but there's 114.9 there for Ethereum. Bitcoin down as well. You look in the last 1 hour or so of trade. Ripple down 2%, Ethereum down 2%. Binance Coin holding out okay. Solana down 1.3%. Dogecoin getting hit the most, down 3%. But yeah, that's just a quick little look here on crypto and what's going on there. So yeah, exciting times, needless to say, in today's market. But still lots to go, right? I mean, Apple, here's the move back higher, so we like that one. Let's ring some kind of a register here. Let's ring another register here. There it is, man. This is why we're here live with you, man. We're doing it the best we can. There's a couple nice little longs for you. Put back in there on Apple. Hey, it's a good thing we started talking, right? I told you we're going long Apple. Here it is, Neil. It's 50 cents. It's in the money. It's a hot dog kind of a cannon, although we want a little bit more than that. So let's wait to see if we can get it. I'll top out again there at 43s. And now we'll wait to see what's going on with Apple. The scalping continues, man. That's what I do best.
Yeah, the scalping continues. Palantir broke that local high right into the volume-weighted average price. Going to scalp that trade, at least until Powell gets off the podium, the podium and he's done. And then in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking if the president speaks, maybe he even says something about this Palantir deal, which could be a little bit spicy as well. So overall, I don't think we've heard anything too crazy, but the shock to the downside might be abating here. I just want to remind everybody, look, there's a couple of points to watch. Watch out for the 10-year at that 4 level even, and I wanted to go to the UVXY. Show the Nasdaq here, but 24.45 was that local high that we couldn't break. That's one spot to watch, and UVXY at the low. So I'm going to keep my eyes on volatility. Like if we stay inside of the range everywhere, then maybe still look for those bounce plays. But I want to look for Palantir, just relative strength. If that can blow out the top, great. Next step would be holding VWAP. Is I think we're getting some of this strength back into the market. Remember, we basically just gone down 200 points and back 200 points on the Nasdaq. And if you're trading the futures or looking at the futures, remember December contract. We rolled over everybody. You got to be on the December.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we did that there. So now here's the bounce back, man, and we're starting to get a little bit excited here back into the upside. So hallelujah. Nice move higher right here for us on Apple. Good trading there. Let's check out what's going on. And NVIDIA, Neil's been trying to chase this as well. Good trade on Palantir. NVIDIA, good bottom there, 169 and change. Let's see if it wants to work. But right now, all hail the king. We don't have Powell on the line. Come on, Jerome. Now you're ruining it. Like everyone knows that you're supposed to be on the line there live, and these guys must have been a pocket dial. Okay, Jerome. Oh, there's purple tie, by the way. Is that purple? Yeah, that looks purple to me. Not that means anything, but it is a purple tie. So we'll have to watch it. We can ask Adara. But Apple right now, nice move up. We're just covering a little bit more up here. And we're getting a bit extended. So let me put an offer there, get some 55s. There we go. We get it. We're also waiting at 60s. So a nice little back up move there for Apple. Climbing the P&L chain just a little bit there. AAPL. So we like that. We like that a lot. Is Uber continuing its downside play as well? We do want to look at some other plays.
I was showing there.
I was showing. Yeah, there was news with Uber earlier today. That was that.
It was Lyft and
Waymo.
Lyft and Waymo Nashville.
So here's the dollar index. We don't have this on our platform. I'll get this off pretty quick, but there it is. The dollar making moves higher right there. The DXY as we wait for more information from Fed Chair.
The Powell hour.
The Powell hour. Power. Right there.
So. I did the same thing. I said Powell. Owl. Anyway, Powell
it's a tongue twist right there as we go.
But I'm not a rapper.
Where can you listen to Trump after this? I don't know. I don't think we'll have the rights or whatever to broadcast Trump, but we have Adara. Yeah, we have Adara, so that's all you need to know. By the way, Neil, there goes Apple again. Now 65 cents in the money. Let's take out a little bit more. Why don't we? Nice move back up there for Apple. So I am glad that we kind of were able to. That hurts. Ouch. I'm glad that we were able to go back on air there, and I was talking to you guys about taking this trade. So there it goes. Let's now wait. We still have about half of this position, so if Powell wants to keep it going, then that is good. So we'll wait there. This is Powell's hour of power. I can't even say that one time fast, let alone 2 or 3 times
I'm
fast.
not even going to bother.
Right there, but
I know Wall bungle it, so I won't.
I'm just a trader. You know, I apologize for my pronunciation right there. Pronunciation.
All of it.
All everything that you do with.
Make sure everybody first hit the like and subscribe if you're here the first time, and make sure if you're typing a symbol in, like, oh, you're looking at Palantir, you're looking at Tesla, hit the $ or type the $. Don't hit it. Type $ in front of the symbol. It just makes it a lot easier. It's still somehow open door at #1. It just always is, but even after we refresh. And I get it, the open army and yada yada, all that good stuff. I took a trend break in open door here. Like, it just, since the number came. Well, I mean, is it really a number when it's as expected? It's still a number. Since the rate number came, it actually held a low and then a bit of a trend break. So from 2 o'clock, or actually from the high of the day, trend down, break the trend and see if we can't get VWAP here on open door. That might have moved more than anything else, but possibly because it's just a frothy stock and it's got some squeeze play potential. I see QBTS is still going to the upside, but yeah, Palantir at the 50-period moving average, that might have just been your chance to buy the dip at the 50 on Fed day. The 50 period is undefeated. QBTS, fresh highs, 18% now, just broke the top, so congratulations. I know a lot of people were in this one all day long. It just goes to show, anybody has news in the quantum space, maybe you want to look at the one that hasn't gone yet, because the sympathy play was even bigger than IonQ that had news. Rising tide lifting all ships here, it does seem. As maybe he's not off the podium just yet, but he certainly stalled the market to move to the downside. We're right back at that Q's top, everybody.
Yeah, if you don't like dollar winners, you're in the wrong spaces, guys. But here it comes, nice little move higher right now for Apple. So just touching out in and around that area of 239. We'll see where it goes from here and there. But there it is. A couple outs there around 239, now trying to finally pull back in just a little bit, and there goes crypto back to the upside. So I'm glad we talked about that. We had mentioned Boeing maybe a little bit earlier. We could see everything that Powell's saying right here. So if there is any sort of a movement that we need to talk about, we both have it in our ear. Actually, I do not, because I logged out and I have to log back in. So if there's anything happening right now with that space, we'll get it to you right now. But Boeing, huge move down into 213 today. Now a nice little move backside right there for Boeing. So that seems to be working. Meta, on their Meta Connect event, which is happening tonight, that's blasted there for a little bit. So nice little $10 move higher right there on Meta. So I guess, taking $1 on Apple, although Apple's only a $200 name, that's a huge move back upside for Meta as well. I'm just going to sit in Apple, man. We have, oh yeah, by the way, we have this one as well. Let's go right now for STUBHUB as that goes back into the downside. So right now, man, I'm sitting in $3 worth of winners. Pretty happy with it so far. People want to look at Rigetti. Of course, Rigetti. Let's have a quick look over there and see that. $22, man. All these quantum names blast off right there to the upside. They may not be making money themselves, but they're definitely making money for you if you own these ones. Huge move up there for Rigetti. Tick, 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 boom. Right now, taking out its all-time highs right there today. And there it goes, right on this move, right here, right now, taking out 2150. Bye-bye, Rigetti, and you're welcome there, Elite Streams, and everybody else looking to look at some Rigetti. IonQ, QBTS, they're all the same today.
It's like they had the news and they're up the least.
It's blast.
IonQ is only up 4%. Rigetti's up 9%. QBTS is up a boat. There's no good ETF. It would be interesting. I guess they're not at the point yet. How can you have a quantum ETF when none of them make any money? That's the problem. But there should be something speculative that I think would encompass it. You could always just you could always just trade them with some kind of a basket. Open is still trying to go here. Palantir, here, I'll show you the black chart. When we're doing two things at once, I like black charts better, but we show you guys the white charts because apparently, allegedly, it's more clean. But Palantir is now, it's not green yet, but effectively, in my opinion, it's green since the print at 2 o'clock. So since the Fed came on, Palantir is continuing to break out. Buying the next dip into VWAP. Palantir had their own news, potential deal with the potential deal with the UK government. That came on right as we were still, as we were getting the opening remarks from Powell. Adair was able to give us that news on Palantir. So it's not just kind of running randomly with the market. it does have its own news. Let's go back to the desk. Adara has more for us.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, guys,
Adara.
I'm not seeing anything here from the Trump interview yet. I'm not seeing a link for it. I'm not seeing a stream for it. I'm not seeing comments for it. But I do want to talk here about one thing Powell said with regards to tariffs. He said that tariffs are contributing roughly 0.3 to 0.4 points to the core PCE reading. So that's 0.3 to 0.4 percentage points of contribution to core PCE reading from tariffs, as per Powell. Back to you.
There it is. We've already talked about the dollar club here, but this is, thanks to Dara for all that. I mean, as tariffs get finally sorted out right here. Here we go. Fed Chair Powell says labor market is softening. Don't need it to soften more. Don't want it to. We start with a quarter-point cut, so they're starting. So I think that's pretty important right there. They're starting, so that's a nice word to hear from Jerome Powell. So we know that there's a start of a rate cut cycle. That's enough for me. Markets are pricing in the rate path, so we can check out what that path looks like again, and then just keep on going. So spending, unemployment is low. We just went through the successful framework, I guess. Fed will probably do more than the planned 10% headcount reduction. So at the Fed, it looks like they're chopping heads over there. The heads are rolling, I guess, at the Fed, I should say. So that's not necessarily a good thing, but we'll wait to see what happens now over there in Fed land. It doesn't look like a positive thing if you're employed over there, as they're looking to chop heads.
Cut by 10%.
Yeah, not great.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're building that big building, you got to cut costs somewhere.
Yes, yes.
You know, well, that's also what we're doing here, everybody. Studio 8
yeah, so you're no longer
is
see
coming
Joe or
through.
Sharif, unfortunately.
It's going to be a few $1 billion worth of renovations here at Trader TV Live, and the cost overruns have been a little bit crazy, so unfortunately.
I mean, that's why Sharif and Joe aren't here right now. Yeah, we had to, unfortunately. They're too expensive.
This black wall right behind you, that itself just cost about $785,000, and just, we're just messing around with you, obviously, but no, it's, at the end of the day, the things that you wanted to hear from Powell, I feel as if it's been like mixed, like, okay, focus on the labor market, good. Maybe the view on the economy I'm not liking too much, but overall we're still going back and forth. We went to the low, to the highs. I covered open at VWAP retrace. I'm going to stick with the rule. Break downward trend, play it into VWAP. +2 on open door. When I had the 10 break, there was a big seller at $10. So, you know, until it play long into 10 from 960 to 10, but if it doesn't break that seller, which is probably still there at 10 even, then work on to something else. If we break out, we can always take more trades. We have about 50 minutes to go. I don't know how long we're going to keep we're going to have Powell answering questions. I believe last time it was like 3:15, 3:20 or so, something along those lines. But we hear anything from the president, I have heard nothing as well. Like Adara. I mean, maybe he's waiting until Powell is done.
Mooning.
Who knows?
Right now, we are mooning in the market, man. The market is coming back to life right there. And there goes Apple, man. We're putting damage on the board again. So far, so good, man. And there goes Apple. Nice little $1.40 now in the money on AAPL. I salute you, everybody. Over to Adara.
It could be because there's actually news on Apple. Apple CEO Tim Cook, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, and CEO of OpenAI Sam Altman, they're all set to attend a UK dinner. We already knew that Jensen Huang and Sam Altman would be accompanying Donald Trump, president of the U.S., to the UK. Looks like Apple's Tim Cook will be coming as well. Again, Tim Cook, NVIDIA's Jensen Huang, and Sam Altman all to attend this dinner here in the UK. Back to you.
I knew I should have bought some of that dip in the Nasdaq there. I mean, I'm already, my boat is full on Apple, not in this trade, but in my personal account, but was looking to buy some dips there. We'll see what continues on tomorrow. If this market turns green and stays green, tomorrow could be like an up 2% day in the market. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening here into the close. I just hope you guys have enjoyed so far everything we've brought to you from 2 p.m. and on. We went live today at 1:45. And we brought you everything. We showed you Fed Chair Powell speaking. We did everything, hopefully, that you guys want. Up 8,000 viewers. We want to thank all of you for watching. Let's see if we can get this over 1,000. If you haven't yet, hit the like button right there. And if you do hit the like button, there is a greater than 49% chance that you will make your next trade a successful one. So I hope that everyone is green today. I know it was a little bit of a tough day out there, but you know, if you caught any of that, you're probably back to Greensville, or you're close enough to it. If you caught some STUBHUB, you're probably doing well there. I mean, STUBHUB opened up actually pretty, I'm not going to say part of my French, but part of my French, like pretty I'm not going to say it, pretty poorly. Anyways, 25.35. We had a bunch of outs right there. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit more, you'll be able to see just a bunch of chaotic outs, man, because it wasn't going, and I kept on waiting. We have a bunch of outs at $26 here as well, but it wasn't going. I kept on waiting, held probably 10% or less in for that move there. It breaks lower, then I paid for shorts, and then that's where, honestly, this is where you props it up and you put your trader hat on and you go short. And there it goes breaking. I mean, how many times do I got to see Klarna, Gemmy, all these things fail, and I just sit here and, you know, talk about this long. So we finally go into the short. We pay for those shorts, and there it goes. Huge move to the downside. We are now $2 plus in the money on this STUBHUB trade. And I just waiting to see what happens here at the end of the day, man. If it breaks 22, who knows how low this thing can go. I mean, traders are caught right now long, this name, at 23.50.
Well, they can't sell.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. So I don't know what's going to happen right now. I mean, it's not option eligible, I don't believe. That's going to take a couple days. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening here with STUBHUB. Nothing but pain right now for those trades. So we're going to go short on that and really ring the register. I mean, it's another top name here today. Just a short alone is a top P&L play. So there it is, man. Apple trying to go right here. I don't know what positions you're looking for, but I'm just going to sit in Apple right now.
I'm going to shout out to Andrew, and congrats to anyone that took Palantir. But Andrew, thank you for the kind words there. We're always trying to make a good show for you. I know QBTS, on Rigetti, you're all going. Lady Luck is taking a stab at STUBHUB. What would be interesting is you can always, once you've broken the IPO price, if you can find any, maybe they haven't done any raises, I don't know if they're hype enough for that, but usually at times you can find when they've done raising rounds when they were private, and then try to track back and look for those market caps and what the theoretical or the implied valuation was at those times. And then you can come up with some potential levels, because the bleed is real on the IPOs. No question. The bleed is real on the IPOs. Gemini got smoked today. I was going to say destroyed, but 13% isn't necessarily destroyed. This is what these IPOs look like recently. STUBHUB did not give you any of that craziness to the upside before it absolutely rugged you. And we're getting a couple more this week, but STUBHUB was a big one. Hopefully Discord at some point can be a good one. I have no idea when
it will be.
Well, no. When I say at some point, I don't know. I don't know when it's coming to market anymore. It was supposed to be this year. We've heard peep from Discord, and that's one we're certainly excited about. So I think that could do. We always talk about Reddit being good. Ooh, Reddit. Remember that all time? If you were here the last probably few days, we've been kind of looking at this Reddit breakout. How many times is it going to test 268 in this top without actually breaking it out on Reddit? Consolidation into higher lows? Ooh, that's a juicy one. But another fail today here. Even right now on Fed, we just got to the top of the market. Reddit gets to that same high and continues to reject. That's fine. Reddit's going to make this break, and when it does, it should be fun. Hopefully sometime soon. And Cutco, this is right. If you're just tuning in now, we should have a lot of new viewers. It's Sean's birthday today, everybody.
And I'm here.
Hope the next one is the best year of life yet. Those are best. Make every single year, every single day better than the day before, every week better than the week before. You know, live every day and every moment to the fullest, and make sure you have a delicious burger tonight.
Yeah, we're having a couple delicious burgers, and I just found out that my son's coming from his university as well, so 3 of us going. So Joe's prediction there on, the total, it'll be, $250.
You're not spending $250 on burgers. Joe was out to lunch on that.
It'll be north of $100.
I know, yeah, but so if you're just tuning in out, Joe on the midday show, he's like, oh man, you can spend up to $250 on burgers for a family.
Maybe Joe can. I don't know how big his family is over there. That's what I was trying to tell the guy. Like, what are you even doing, Joseph?
It's a lot of alcohol you got to buy.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I haven't. Honestly, the last time I had a drink of anything, probably, sometimes when we get together with the hockey family, we'll have like a beer or something like that, but I can't remember. Yeah, we don't really drink too much. I got to have some wine. My wife was the other day, was like, she said, I can't believe how much I like red wine more than white wine. And we didn't even crack a bottle off that comment, so we should have done that. So maybe tonight we'll open up Barolo or something like that. But so thank you so much, Alex. I do look pretty good for 32. Now, could you imagine that I'm almost double that? No, but we'll continue to support the show if you guys continue to support us. So continue to support the show. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's only been like 7 years of us doing this, so so far so good on that one. And we're getting bigger and better as we go. So thank you so much to everybody. We have a lot of fun around here. So there we go to everybody. I'm 46 years old right now, and I'm born similar years to many people around here, but definitely look the youngest of everybody. So.
It's Mike's birthday too. Sean's younger brother's birthday as well. So I don't know. Mike probably not watching, but
no, he's not. He has work tonight. He's actually
at least the power stayed on the trading floor during Fed Day.
Yes, we did not lose power today. My brother used to trade with us, and he plugged in a kettle one time that was just very, very close to our server or whatever. And it's not really his fault. I mean, we put the kettle there, and he was making a tea or something like that, and then pop goes the weasel. We were down for a minute, and that's when, because again, we are the trainers, we actually had traders that were making a little bit of money.
Yes.
We had big floors, and right now, no floors there, and as we
it was actually quite bad because it was right at the European close.
Thank you, Ronak.
Let's just say the floor was exposed to some Europe trades, and it is what it is. But we learned from that lesson. At the end of the day, as long as you're enjoying the show, I just want to remind everybody, hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Powell is still on the podium. There has been nothing distinct or anything crazy yet. So if we go back to him, if he starts changing tone, market's still trending higher, and nothing yet from the president. Yes, we're expecting President Trump was supposed to be speaking on Fox or with Fox at 3 o'clock. There has not been a peep out of that just yet. I was just speculating and guessing that maybe he's waiting till Powell is done. But this is usually around the time that he wraps up. We've seen it before. Powell wraps up, and the market does a little bit of a reversion. So let's see if we get a little bit of a dip when he does eventually stop taking questions.
I was going to say right here, sorry about that, Ronan, right here. Where are you, my guy? Here it is. I wanted to highlight it so I can say it. What's up, Ronak? What's up, Ronak Kumar there? I watch your channel every day. Sometimes my parents call me Junior Sean. I apologize for that. But there you go. Thank you so much for those nice words. And we're just glad you watch every single day. I mean, this is so you know what's real and what's not. And Neil and I putting on trades right in front of you guys every single day. And that does take a little bit of something to do that. So we want to say thank you to everybody for continuously supporting the channel and what we're doing here. All right, so there goes Apple. We have covered a little bit of Apple as it makes its move back upside right now. I did want to take a quick check on gold. Look, I thought it would be a relatively slower period here for the Fed, but we did talk about how it was going to be a good boon for Bitcoin. It was going to be a good one for Ethereum. It was going to be a great one for the market, and so far, so good. I mean, the market was down almost 1% today near its lows, right? And then now we battled all the way back, and just right there, that's where we were down. So that's basically like pre-Fed kind of stuff. Then we rallied into the Fed, then we tanked it off the Fed, and now we're just slightly flat again, right? So it's been a relatively muted day. I still think you want to buy the best companies in the market, and we did get a great opportunity to do that today with NVIDIA. NVIDIA down at 169. Now, I don't think it's like a savior or anything like that we bounced off 168.50, but 169, you're getting into some buy zones maybe for NVIDIA as well if you do want to support the market. I think NVIDIA would be a good spot there, that if the market rallies from here, you're going to see NVIDIA at all-time highs next week, so that's an interesting play. And then you had Micron reporting next week. That could be exciting. So, but yeah, nice little battle back there for IBIT. It's funny because I feel like if you just rewind, now we went long Apple, and trust on me, man, we are very, very, we are very happy that we went long on Apple, but we are also talking about Bitcoin potentially bouncing there as well, and that happened. I mean, the whole market bounced. You had Palantir there, which was a great one.
Remember, Palantir had its own news. I think that really helped Palantir because foreign deals has got to be big for them.
Yeah.
I mean, getting away from U.S. government contracts, I mean, it's something they do.
They do have a lot of foreign deals.
They do have other foreign deals, but it's just another one here that maybe gave it some cover to just go before the market went. That's all that happened. The market went up anyways, but it just happened to go a little bit before. we didn't look at any of the Chinese names.
I
See
just saw
people
someone
mentioning
posted that up
Alibaba and Baidu. Remember, this morning, we came in this morning and the trade was NVIDIA down, Chinese stocks up. So Alibaba's only up 2.5%. It was Baidu that had the big move. Baidu was up like 16. I think overnight, 16. The high was 16% overnight. It's up 10% now and continue to go. That's looking incredibly strong. Is Baidu? I prefer Alibaba myself personally, but that's just that's the one I hold. And what I love about Alibaba was just their cloud numbers are so good. So you're getting a little bit of everything. You get the IA play, they've got the cloud, they've got the retail. And I know a lot of these conglomerates are the same way, but they compare very favorably to something like an Amazon when you make that side-by-side comparison. So yeah, Chinese names super strong today. Doesn't really seem like they did too much different from the overall market. Okay, they dipped when the market dipped here, and they're right back to the highs when the market's at the highs. Let's go back to Dara here. The recovery continues.
Was just asked here. It's a two-part question. Keep an eye on the market again. Final question asked. Two-part question at this Fed chair meeting. I'm still not seeing any word here on Trump. I know some people were saying he might be speaking tomorrow instead of today, but I've seen no confirmation either way. The only thing I've seen from sources is that it will be today. If I get any information, I'll let you guys know. Back to you.
What?
About Trump. I saw the same thing this morning, that it was supposed to be today that he was speaking. Which seemed,
leave the man
weird,
alone. Maybe he's
whatever.
golfing. I mean, come on, man. I mean, if I didn't have the passion to be here in front of everybody, I'd be golfing as well. And it's a gorgeous day out.
It is a nice day out
right now. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Can't speak for everyone.
No. I mean, I have no idea where it is, for example, in Tulum, but I'm sure it's gorgeous there as well. All right, so I don't know why we chose Tulum there. It's obviously great in Mexico all the time. All right, so. Yeah, I want to see right here in the chat who is from the most exotic place right now. Like, is there anybody that's watching from Thailand or anything like that here right now? London was great. I loved being in London. I can't wait, Neil, for you to go there. I think it's an absolute.
Possibly next year we'll see.
Yeah, it's an amazing place.
I've been. My daughter's
Jordan. Okay, someone's from Jordan. Oh, shout out to Nimrud. He was on the chat earlier. We know that he's in Israel or somewhere from the moon. Okay,
I saw Dublin.
The moon wins here. Oh, Peru. Okay, North Korea. You're not from North Korea.
Get out
of here. Come on, my guy. You're
Jamaica, I saw you.
Yeah. What up, Jamaica? Yeah.
Argentina, Costa Rica.
Yeah, the Bajans are in the building. What's up?
A lot of mercy.
Lot of mercy. Yeah, right there. What's up to, Italy. Yo, Italy.
Stockholm.
Wagwan. Stockholm is there. Yeah, don't get those syndromes. Okay, Nepal is here. Germany's here. Indonesia. Australia. Like that. What time is it up in there right now? Oregon. Hey, what's up, Oregon? Send me some Pinot Noir. Definitely like that. Ooh, Morocco. Love that Morocco.
Oh, speaking of Italy, congratulations to Furlani, 21 years old and the world champion in the long jump.
Yeah.
That dude is going to be absolutely special. I'm a track and field fan, so shout out to Italy's been doing it for real. The North Pole I just saw. No, you're not. There's no way you got signal up in the North Pole, but
I know Starlink.
Starlink is legit.
Starlink
is legit. In the deep north where my sister-in-law lives, they live by Starlink because they don't get good connection out there. They got Starlink and it's unbelievable, at least for them. So we speak highly of it. Let's go to Adara. She's got some news for us.
Yeah, big spike here in PYPL. This one on watch here. Google and PayPal announcing a multi-year partnership to transform commerce. If I get more details on said partnership and how it will transform commerce, I'll let you know. But either way, PYPL, nice push to the upside on this. Again, Fed Chair Powell, in case you missed it, is certainly off the podium, guys. Back to you.
He gone, and Jamal is here. Thank you for the super chat, Jamal. You've been watching since the start, obviously, from Kuwait. So that one definitely sticks out. Thank you, everybody. We definitely have viewers from all over the place, and that's the best part about it. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share with your friends, share with fellow traders. That's what it's all about here. That's exactly what it's about. And believe me, like we're not done. There's 30 minutes to go, and we'll still have the market recap after. We'll take some of your questions. We'll recap what Powell said or didn't say, and the market reaction, and anything that we missed, we'll try to go over. And on top of that, prepare ourselves for the rest of the week. It's just Wednesday. We still have some earnings to get to next week. We still have the reaction of some of these quantum stocks that have been going ham. There's a lot for us to talk about in the aftermarket show as well. But the market is absolutely flying. It looks like Big Papa Pump came through again. If the market goes up, we call him Big Papa Pump. And if it goes down, I don't know what we call him. Maybe we just ignore him when the market goes down when he speaks.
Yeah, there's not much to do, honestly. Right now, it's 324. Look at that. I mean, we just got a great fill right there on Apple. We just had an order sitting there at the 200 period moving average. All right, maybe it's time to start covering. I mean, in today's trade, what a good trade today was for many reasons, right? I mean, Alibaba is the one trade that actually we lost on earlier on today. This is one of the first trades that I had in my blotter, and that's just in my account. And it was early, and it wasn't often enough because we could have potentially reloaded it down there at 163 or maybe averaged in because it didn't break 163. But on this move down for Alibaba, I really like these Chinese names, man. With PEs around 20, with a market multiple right now of about 22 in the S&P 500, I want to buy names, and you guys tell me, maybe I'll look to the chat. Let's try to find some names that really have, reasonable PEs, because like if I'm going to buy like a Broadcom, Nvidia's at 40 right now. I looked at that and I was like, no moss on that one maybe. But here's Broadcom. Like, what is a good PE these days that we can invest in? There's Broadcom right now, 39 coming into play on a forward, 92 on current. Too much for me right now. The good one is Meta. I believe Meta was still in and around 27 maybe, something like that for Meta. Yeah, there it is right there. Good memory. 27 for Meta. So that's a play right there that we can maybe get involved with. The reason why Google I still think has more room to run is their market multiple is still in line at $23. Look, I was pounding the table when this thing was at 17, 18, 19. Now it's at 23 off of an epic run for Google as of late. But Adobe, let's check out what Adobe's is. Good call there in the chat. I'm looking for the chat there right now. Adobe 15, yeah. So right there, if you believe in the business for Adobe, that might be reasonable there for ODB. And we don't really want to, not yet, ODB. Oh man, shout out to Old Dirty right there. But let's just check out ADB again right there. All right, so yeah, with only a 15 multiple on it, yeah, there it goes, up 3%. So yeah, that's probably why it's just hovering around here right now. I mean, Adobe got hit. We saw Figma has not been a great IPO, I mean, obviously. And there we go to the downside right now. What is going on in the bottom right? Oh, I like that. Scan me. I've never seen that. That's probably been there forever, but there it is.
I saw this today.
That's a cool.
At least
who
since
did
today.
that? Who made that? Ramin? I like that. How it scans like that. Cool. Neil's going to scan it right now to make sure it goes to the watch list. Of course, good due diligence there, Neil, for sure.
We believe in quality control.
Yes.
Yeah, that works.
Good. So go there, sign up, get it. But yeah, Adobe could be a good play for sure. So. Yeah, PayPal with news. Yeah, Adara brought that news to us here. So let's go find out what exactly is going on with PayPal.
I really don't like PayPal.
This is, again, probably another real low PE here for PayPal.
This stock does not want it. Where's the do something?
11 PE.
11? Okay, that's pretty low.
PayPal needs to be bought up, man.
11? That's that.
I'm still using PayPal, man. I'm still using PayPal.
I just don't.
Apple's still moving around. All right, let's put a stop on StubHub. Yeah, I mean, there's no real reason to use PayPal. I just got money in there, you know what I'm saying? So we'll use that. But what about 2250? Let's just punch out if this breaks 2250. I don't have much else into this name right now, so it's a small position. We'll get out. You got to have some kind of discipline. We only have 30 minutes left. Let's go 2261, okay? Some of these top wicks right into there. Those are 60 wicks right here.
That was a current PE. That's not even forward.
Right. Would you love that PE right there? All right, 2261. Enter. So there it is, man. That is now triggered out, and we'll get that going. Oh, I see what you guys are talking about. This is that do something thing right here. Do something.
I don't have it on my board.
It may look. It's apparently that's a meme. Like I understand what it looks like, and I'm not loving it for that.
Poke it with a stick.
But right there, that's what happens if you want the stock to. So like if you want StubHub to actually do something, you just gotta. This is what you gotta do. You gotta do this, and then it goes right into the daily chart. See, do something, StubHub. And then it kicks it off right there. So shout out to StubHub and everybody else out there enjoying the show today. I hope you guys all are. We're having a great time putting it on for you as we usually do. So again, thanks for all of that. Today's another big time day, man. I keep on saying that, but it is a good day. We've done really well on NVIDIA, StubHub, and here on Apple. So you can check it out. We all have our notes out. The sticky note is mine. And today we had NVIDIA short, which is my #1 P&L name. That hit at 931 today. Open door. We have have 840 bottom. We can go check out what that was doing. I don't know if that hit that or not. And then we had Uber 91 long.
Pre-market it did, but.
Pre-market, that's why I wrote it down. So if it didn't,
okay.
Yeah, I was using that number. And then we just wrote down STUBHUB IPO because we wanted to look there. But the STUBHUB IPO,
oh my goodness,
did not make me rich, did not really do anything. It was really, Ramin was right here when we were doing the STUBHUB IPO, and I just told her, like, this was much more risk than needed to be.
The opening print was silly to take that print. First of all, it opened at a time we weren't really expecting it.
And opened at a random price.
It was. Exactly. It opened at a random price at a moment when it just did not feel like it had been settled down. So it was one of those, usually we're ready and we're locked in. I will admit, it was like I got the shares and was like, what? That just happened? And just immediately was like, I'm getting out. There was nobody buying the damn buying the stock. The damn thing. I can say that. It's entirely true. And these stupid wicks are ridiculous. I did try to load. I didn't really load up. I had some 25, but all the sizes at the open for me every single time. I think we got away with one, and I'll call it like it is. And we said this with, it wasn't Figma, it was Klarna. I think that was one. Sometimes you get away with one where just you being quick on the keys is really the only reason you make any money on it and willing to get out and then not hold. But let me just go to open. There's another seller now at the quarters on open door. Like the market just got to the top. So look, market to the top, maybe look for pullback. It finally broke away from the 10 level, broke trend at 950, broke away from 10, but is holding at 10.25. Like every 25 cents, the stock has a seller in it, which makes sense. Remember, Open Door has done 650 million shares. Like it's turning over like crazy. Like the market makers are making a ton of money on this for sure. But just remember, it's a scalp traders kind of market for Open Door. Palantir is still heading higher. I mean, we talked about crypto, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The market just went, the Nasdaq, I should say, ES too, kind of. Nasdaq a little stronger than the ES, but they both went back to the top.
Look at Palantir.
Bitcoin does not get back to the 2 a.m. high. And that's another thing to consider. When you make levels on a Fed day, those are liquidity points, and they tend to matter a little bit here. So you note something like this. Hey, guess what? When the Nasdaq got back to the tops in the afternoon, IBIT couldn't get back to 66. Bitcoin faded a little bit there. Palantir blew through the top and tried to go green, so it's relatively strong. Little tidbits like that. I like to throw relative strength and relative weakness buckets. Like, look at this thing. Palantir could go green today.
Yeah, it's the greatest stock ever.
And remember, Palantir was... there was a point at 2 o'clock or after 2 o'clock when Palantir looked like it was the weakest stock that we were watching. And then all of a sudden, the relative strength came in, and Palantir bounces off of what? Stop me if you've heard this before. The 50-period moving average on the daily chart for Palantir was actually the low on this Fed day. It's
wild.
It's absolutely wild. Sometimes it's in real time, like you actually looking at your daily chart in that moment. If you are, then congratulations on Palantir catching it off that 50 period, because someone was buying on this line before for a while, kind of up and down. Every single day, it seemed to try to hug the 50 period. Today, it bounces clean.
I feel like there needs to be a little bit more made of this. So here's PayPal right here. I think it might break long. I mean, Google and PayPal announced multi-year partnership to advance frictionless digital commerce solutions. So I don't know exactly what this means. Strategic partnership focused on advancing several commerce solutions. I mean, I don't know if PayPal is somehow going to get a piece of any sort of online business or whatever here that Google is sort of selling, then I think that's a great opportunity there. Combining their expertise and scale, the companies aim to deliver frictionless digital commerce experiences. So I don't know, man. It sounds, honestly, man, this sounds pretty hot fire to me. So I'm excited for that, and think that there's some opportunities there for sure now in that space. So let's just continue.
How many fintech names trade underneath 20p?
I didn't check Upstart. I didn't check Affirm and all that.
No, I'm saying that. I'm just basically saying like you're getting one that's relatively cheap. And I know I've crapped on them a lot. I speak for myself. Like I used to, like PayPal. You go back, I used to use PayPal all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And like I had money, and then eventually it's just like, well, I've used all the money I had on
find
PayPal.
out what Blocks is.
So what's the point? So now I think I might still have something that I use it for. But this could be what
block
could
is
be what
16
gets off
and
the
20s as well. So block
That's
is
still better.
similar. Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's still
versus 11 and 14.
Google is the right one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right
PayPal's
partnership.
11. So, anyways, you heard it here first. Please don't at me when PayPal tanks, but please at me when it goes up. Okay, that's how it works. So, so we'll watch out to see if PayPal can break through. What about some options here? Breaking above 70, get some $70 calls. Maybe they expire in December. I mean, they're going to be expensive. Or if you're going to go that far out, what about an 80 take or so there for PayPal? Just a quick update, man. Our net is climbing, but we're just getting out. So we're just getting out of the same positions. So there it is. This is my Apple. We got stopped out there and we got stopped out there. So a couple stop outs there. One right at the very bottom. So we have a bottom stop out and top profit takes. So the profit's not the hugest or anything on this name, but it'll be enough to hold the day. My number one trade today is going to be NVDA short. Again, off the sticky note. My number two trading today is going to be with STUBHUB, which is going long and then going short. So believe it or not, we still wind up making more money there on this than we did on all of our other plays. And then Apple, and then on NVIDIA, we wind up making more than on STUBHUB is what I was trying to say. And then Apple, just right now, that's it, right? We don't have anything else. We had TQs, which we were flat on. It's a cup of coffee, but we did wind up losing there as it did break lower during Fed, and I'm glad we were able to get out. And then Alibaba, my first trade of the day, right into there. But we're big time red and pretty happy with it. So let's just keep that flow going. And you got to have some kind of diamond hands at some point. I don't know if I like that saying. If you're going to have diamond hands,
I don't like the diamond hands.
I would just say have it on like 25% or 30% of your position, because no trade is a winner until it's in your pocket. So you can have your hands and fists as diamonds as possible, and that's great, especially if you have a loved one. Please share the diamonds, but make sure they're not blood diamonds, or maybe even get fake diamonds. But at the end of the day, you want to capture profit because
it's like there's traders in Open Door that are like, this thing is going to 50. This happened with GameStop. Like people just get a little bit too crazy, like, Open Door has to do what Carvana did and go from like a couple of dollars to $300. It doesn't have to do that. But if you want to be able to hold something for a move like that, what you really want is pay yourself, and then all of a sudden you're holding it for sure. And I just want to shout out, we got another super chat in there from Scott Angel, and where was it? You retracted the message, so if you had a message with it, unfortunately I can't see the message. We appreciate the super chat. I don't know, maybe you wanted to let us know what that was again, because hey, you give us a super chat. Maybe it was something different. Pro day trader, I had open this morning. I had Baba this morning. I liked Open Door, and it had nothing. Okay, I gotta say it had nothing to do with Martin Shkreli. Like the way I looked at it, I don't think Martin Shkreli is he's not Andrew Left putting on a short. Like if Andrew Left puts on a short, or like Michael Burry, if they get out, like that matters. It's gonna matter as they're unwinding a position, in my opinion. I don't really know anything. I'm just making some assumptions here. And I don't necessarily think that when he announced he was short at $9.36, it amounted to anything crazy. However, psychologically, it has been a decent place to buy the stock or for it to bounce. Like when he made the announcement, it was right in here, and it's not been a bad place for the bounce. And as long as it's above, I think psychologically people are going to like it for the squeeze and continuation. So I like Open Door in here. We talked Alibaba, and I think we'll still like Baba tomorrow. Like dip into the prior high. Market was fading. I got out of that one way too early, and Alibaba ultimately doesn't do a lot with it, but when it caught that prior bar low, there was no chance to get back in off of that 163. So, it was pretty solid. I actually liked a short on AMD early, and right into the price, a reversion off the high, like right in here to the prior day close. That ended up continuing out of nowhere. So it's scalp trades for me, which were all great this morning, and obviously Open Door was a big deal. But not Open Door. StubHub. But the risk to reward on StubHub kind of stunk. It was just for the amount.
To say the least.
Oh yeah, I'll be the first person to tell you, like StubHub overall, when you take a trade like this, I call it like a gimmick trade is the word I like to use, because I know that there's a decent chance that if it really goes, 26 turns into 27, 28, 29, like all that kind of stuff. So you're trying to hold for that monster move, like on a circle or like on a core weave or whatnot off the open. But when it doesn't happen, this kind of like, it's like, oh yeah, when it's not happening, like I am just, every time I see it pop up a little bit, I'm like, is there a seller? There is, get more out. Pop up again, is there a seller? Get more out. Like I'm just like, get out, get out, get out, get out. And then I got pretty fortunate because there was this crazy bottoming tail candle that came in. And when I saw it happen, as there were other sellers jumping in there, I kind of thought that it had run the bottom and my stop didn't trigger. So I ended up punching out of the stock, even though it didn't break. And then it was like, then it ended up being a really good punch out. So it ended up being a good punch out because it just meant I didn't have anything on when it eventually took 25. But this stock was not good. The market's starting to come back in here. I just want to bring it back with about 10 minutes to the imbalances. Slight pullback, but overall, I'd say it was the word that you want to use here when you kind of stay inside, we don't break out the highs, inside move on the top end. Like we broke the bottom pretty decently in the market here, but we actually couldn't break through the top. We did get through the 2 o'clock highs, but we didn't get through yesterday's highs or the morning highs with any vigor. So a little bit of a stall out here at the top. Like we don't get that big push. There's still about 20 minutes to go. So we have time to close at the highs. But I'd rather see us close green, busting through the highs on a Fed day, than still resisting the same top, because that means we have work to do tomorrow to break through that high. I want to give you guys an early look on the imbalances like we always do here. Not much. The big day for these imbalances, like tune in on Friday and then have your mind blown by how big Robinhood's imbalance is going to be, and AppLovin as well. Like those should be pretty big.
That's Friday?
Remember, it's September. It's like the third Friday in September. So you've got some index rebalancing coming at the end of the week. But today, APH, 1.6 sell. You got Met, 1.1. Nothing crazy. Joby might be the interesting one for now because Joby doing 1 million shares at the close to the buy side. It's actually done more volume than I thought. It's done 50 mil today, Joby.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty good volume on Joby. That might end up a nothing burger. I mean, 1 million imbalance on a $14 stock doesn't mean as much. When NVDA has a 5 million imbalance, that's a huge deal. Joby here for Mill. I'll keep it up. We'll see.
All right, so Bullish is reporting tonight. We're not sure if it's going to be on the show or not.
No, it's at like 7 at night.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it could surprise you. It's their first report, so we'll see when they report this. But I would think that Bob in there in the chat was asking about it, and I was just going to say, if anything here, you have some nice 5, 6, 10-day consolidation rate here at that bottom between 48 to 56. I think it's kind of crazy to make a call on a stock on its first report, especially with it's been, really plunging there off of its IPO. Remember, they have a trailing 12-month EPS of minus $3.27 with negative income. So they are going to put up a negative EPS number. And that's fine. I mean, it's a growth stock. It's not like you're too worried about it, but I don't expect anything other than a bearish report for Bullish, but that doesn't mean the stock's going down. I mean, I'm not even sure what the short float is right now on BLSH. I can look it up. I don't think it's going to be accurate.
Get an update.
Yeah, it might not be updated too accurately. It only shows 3.5%. So I don't know if that's true or not, if they're using the right amount of share size. How many shares have even been unlocked in this company or anything like that? But remember, they're not making money. There's a lot of regulatory risks associated with this as we continue to wonder about these treasuries going through. We do know that there are companies like the Nasdaq and whatnot that are using Gemini for their Bitcoin adoption. So I don't know exactly what the situation is going to be here today with Bullish, but it was not a great IPO, man, and it never got going. Like, you maybe had 3 or 4 days of some upside right there. So, traders that are, or I guess insiders that are a little smarter than us on, the crypto space or whatever, no one's come in to buy Bullish. So I would say if you're going to try it, yeah, throw some play money at it. There, nothing wrong with that. But right now, crypto space is pretty saturated. Like, you have Coinbase, you got that Gemini, you have Hut 8. There's a lot, and they all have different purposes. Strategy. I get it. But like, Coinbase is kind of doing this. This is an established business with a lot of sort of revenue angles. And I'm just looking at it and being like, I don't know how much I really love this. This is also consolidating over the past month and a half. So yeah, we're not breaking out of anywhere yet. We talked about trading Tesla once Tesla broke through 65, I think it was, and that started creating some upside momentum there. So look at how this looks right now, and then I'm saying that I don't want to get interested until it breaks 350, which is right here. We only have 5 minutes till the imbalances as well. And then here's what Tesla looks like, and we've really crushed Tesla over the last little while. But look at what this looks like here. To me, this is more extended than the Coinbase, but it was still that same sort of like nonsense area right into here, that once we finally broke above it, then it was giddy up. So I think Coinbase, I think the rest of the names in the space can learn a little bit from that breakout, and we'll see what winds up happening there as it goes. But thank you for the question. Thank you again. And bullish tonight, Neil and Adara will be on the podium there with the show. So get ready for your market recap show tonight. Obviously talking about the Fed and what's good out there, and you can ask some Q&A and whatnot during that as well. So
and this, as you were talking about bullish, we're talking about being saturated. Like, look at. I'm going to show you guys what the Qs look like today for a good-looking potential close. Circle, on the other hand, again, blockchain play. This is an example of what doesn't look good in this little market bounce that we're having. This daily candle stinks on Circle. There's no other way to put it. Circle was on a trend. You want there to be buyers up at the top. We basically failed a high and are coming back in. Doesn't get back to prior lows. It's just this little rally that we're having, or bounce that we're having this afternoon, is that there's no participation in some of these names. I'm not feeling that bullish on bullish at all. I think allow these things to do price discovery, because you'd rather be late to an IPO. I'm gonna put up hood. Like, I would rather be like waiting around for an IPO coming to market, settling down and breaking out. You don't need to catch the bottom. Did you need to catch the bottom on Robinhood? I mean, it would be nice if you did. Mm-hmm. But when this got back to where it was in those first couple of months and then started breaking out, you had all the time to get in here. And granted, I'll admit, I didn't get into Robinhood. I'm in SoFi. So, don't at me. Robinhood was better than SoFi. We've been over this before. And I'm mad at myself, because I think I could have bought both of them. But the point being, you don't need to be early when these stocks come to market and their birthday or their first month or two is the best that it gets. And all of a sudden you downward trend, everyone forgets about it, or trying to catch a falling knife, they give up on it. And then when it starts breaking away, it's so much easier. So Robinhood's a great example of that. I think that's going to be true of all these names that are coming through, Bullish and Circle and CoreWave. They're still trying to figure out where the bottom is on all of them. Not every single one, like STUBHUB, actually breaks down on the first day. Most of them have the common decency to break down a couple of weeks later, not 30 minutes in. Yeah. I'm being harsh. Common decency is probably a harsh way to say it, but it's true. No. Most times you actually will rally a little bit, and then you'll break down after, not at 20 minutes after you open.
I mean, that was an easy trade there. We wind up going short on stuff. I mean, we're still short right now. We actually just wind up covering. So there it is, man. We covered. Irons up. There it is, man. There's the cover on Apple as it broke the 50-period moving average of 239. Now we're starting to head low side on Apple, so good for us to cover that, I guess. And we're almost out of STUBHUB as it's going to break 22.61. That's my out right there. $2 in the money right now, but if it does break, we're going to get out. We do have some good takes on it, so it's all good. Our best take is basically right here. We don't have anything down at 22 because I was waiting for 22 to break, and it did not. The Chinese names probably still continue to rock. I mean, this 166.50, I really like that break, and I actually had an order to break that earlier on in the day, but when it fell back in, that's when I started to buy the dips. I'm learning more and more every day, guys, about how to trade, and just waiting for levels to break is what I should do, and especially when I do the work and put out these notes, just follow them. We do have the imbalance, not you follow my notes, but just follow your own notes, or you can follow mine, whatever. It's been
QBTS just popped up here.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, coming into these imbalances, we only have 2 minutes now, a minute and a half. So QBTS is on there. Neil mentioned Wolf. These are all, you only want to look at the NYSE ones right now, but I'm just sorting them by size. So we'll wait to see. You can sort them by market time as well, but we'll sort it by size and just wait. So right now, Wolf Speed giving us a little bit there. We'll just, we're going to right click it here, and we're going to disable all these and only get the ones for when we go live. So now we'll wait there. We'll have the broker fills right here. Sun is here, XO and QBTS still there right now. These are the broker looks. So as Neil just said, there's QBTS looking up. Those ones from before were from 9:30. So these are the more accurate ones. Check out the market time. I had it sorted incorrectly. This is what's going to pop here near the end of the day. Okay, there goes STUBHUB. So we just got filled at 60. I guess 61 is pretty good fill. Maybe it was 62s. I'll give it to you. 62 change, a bunch of dark pool prints there. So yeah, good outs right here. And this is what it looks like. Buys and sells. Maybe more to the sell side here with only 30 seconds left.
Yeah, 30 seconds. It does seem like it. Snapchat actually with an early look sell, 1.3 million. Snapchat's been having a decent time of it recently, bouncing off $7. Interesting to see a sell and bounce there. Yeah. It wasn't just QBTS, but also IMQ with a small buy there, 700,000 to buy. So some of the quantum names, which are all of them are pretty strong today, getting buy imbalances. Do keep in mind, just because it's a buy imbalance now does not mean it's going to be a gigantic imbalance in 1 second here, or that the stock automatically goes up. So top of the board, TLT, 1.4 million to the buy side on TLT, BZID, nothing too crazy here, unfortunately. And now you're looking at the NYC ones. Yeah, nothing big. Nothing big. It looks like for TLT to be the biggest number when we come out here, I'd say that's a bit of a disappointment. I don't even see NVIDIA or any of the big cap names in here. There's AMD for 700,000 shares. Like, when was the last time AMD was leading some of the bigger cap tech names to the imbalance side? Overall market is a buy, 800 million shares to buy, but under a billion means insignificant. And the Dow's 17 million to sell. The Mag 7, 169 million. So everyone's waiting for Friday. Friday is the big day for the imbalance locator. Third Friday, it's September, we're in a new quarter, and you've got a massive addition to the S&P 500. That would be Robinhood. Robinhood's finally going in along with AAP11. I believe the projected number is 140 million odd shares or something that we were expecting to transact on Hood on Friday. So that'll be a biggie. Like we talked about, certain ones stand out. Palantir stood out in its day. Nothing will ever compare to when Tesla was added to the S&P 500. Trust me, in 20 years, there was nothing like it. Robinhood won't be that, but it should be good.
Yeah, Robinhood and SoFi, and then eventually some
I hope
of these
SoFi.
quantum names will get added to like the Nasdaq 100 and stuff like that. But of course, you got to have, you got to have 4 or 5 EPS.
You know who's one of the favorites for the next time? It's Carvana.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Carvana's in the top 4. On Kalshi, you can literally bet on who's going to get added to the S&P 500 this year. And one of the top 4 right now is Carvana.
Okay, so good question here from Hangry Wife. I just saw it right now. My throat is getting worse and worse, man. I hope I'm able to come in tomorrow. If not, you'll see Obi here most likely. All right, any reason you don't use 2 times ETFs? No, I would say, I mean, obviously you nailed it right there with the TQQs. No, I mean, thing is, my buying power is quite large. I don't need to use, like, I can trade NVIDIA at these price levels. I can trade Meta with enough shares to not worry about it. And for me, it's just, I've always been, if you want me, I could, not if you want me to, but I could switch over and trade ETFs for sure, like PLTU or something like that. I don't know what the Palantir one is. But at the end of the day, I'm so used to price levels that we've talked about numerous times here on the show that it makes more sense for me to trade Palantir. Like, if I think this is going to run up $1 and it's a good trade, then you put on 500 shares. It's kind of like the price of this doesn't really affect my ability to trade it. More expensive names that maybe have bigger spreads. Like, I think that there might be some value right now. And the 2 times levered ones are always lesser price. So that's why I talk like this. Like, there might be some value in trading a Meta ETF right now because the spread is 40 cents, so for me, that could be a little too big maybe based on the amount of shares that one trades. But yeah, I don't really have a reason, to be honest with you. And I know that's not a great answer by any stretch, but I just trade what I trade. And the reason why I trade the TQs is because QQQ, I just did find that it is a little bit expensive right there. So this one I kind of stayed away from. I do like the TQs. And then this is if you just look at what the futures look like over here for us, let's go to the E-mini, not the micro. It's a completely different experience for us here when we're trading this as opposed to actual pennies, right? This trades in quarters, as you can see. I'd have to adjust my level 2s. It doesn't even fit properly in here. So yeah, that's sort of part of the reason why I sit here and just trade on the TQs, because the Qs and the Nasdaq, because it looks exactly the same as the rest. So that's why when I'm talking about futures, it'll just be the TQQs over and over and over again. And then Apple, like I said, most of the time I don't even know what the extensions are for the levered
And not
ETFs.
all of them have quality intraday volume.
And exactly, that's even a better answer.
I can't tell you the number of times, like you'll pull one up, which is fine. I know Joe uses TSLL, but Tesla is a good example where there is volume. But there are some of those ETFs, when you pull it up, there isn't the same level of liquidity that you might be expecting. And at the end of the day, when you're day trading, it's just a little bit different on a prop floor. But because at the end of the day, trading...
TSLL is only $20 too, as opposed to Tesla's 400.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
But remember, if it doesn't have the liquidity, it's not the same thing. Speaking of trading in someone else's money, good segue, because instead of risking your own money, you can trade with someone else's capital. Where? Trade the pool. No more fear of losing, no more moving your stop loss too soon. You can actually get enough capital to make it worth your time. So you can aim for big profits, not just a couple $100 a month. This is a revolution called limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. So here's how it works. You join Trade the Pool, hit the profit goal, and keep 70% of the profits. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now for 10% off. And someone asked me a question in the chat about Robinhood. We were talking about on Friday. It's supposed to be added to the index. The implied move is only 4.4% to Friday for Robinhood. So when you're talking about an index action like this, a lot of it's really, people have bought the news on the anticipation that Robinhood was going to go into the index for a long time now. The actual nuts and bolts will be like the last, sometimes 15 minutes of trading, mostly the last 5 to 10 minutes of trading. You get exceptions like Tesla. Like Tesla went bat-ish crazy for like an hour when it was getting added to this. They didn't even care about the imbalances coming out. It was moving like crazy when it got added. I don't expect that.
Cracker Barrel.
Oh, Cracker Barrel as well.
After the earnings.
Well, they did. Cracker Barrel, they were tonight after the bell. I think later as well.
Why are they so late?
They reversed course and caught a bit of a bid with I guess the controversy over their logo, which I didn't really get. I don't know. I didn't really understand that one. I just thought like, okay, well, granted, I didn't think the logo was any good either. I just didn't think it was that big of a deal. But apparently it was, and apparently we're going to Adara.
Oracle and Watch, Moody's Ratings weighing in the company's $300 billion contract reportedly with OpenAI, saying that it shows the, quote, extraordinary potential of the AI business, but that risks are substantial. So Moody's saying that there is potential here for AI with Oracle, but there are still notable risks involved. Back to you.
Oh, well, it's going to close above 300 at least.
What is Oracle?
Oracle.
Yeah, it got down to 292, didn't it, or something?
Yeah, 90.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
95,
Not
whatever,
so
95.
nice.
This had one good day since earnings. One good, I mean, I don't count this as good because the only wick you got was the open, and then it spent the rest of the day fading. One good day, fading and fading. So Oracle has held the bottom. It hasn't done anything with it yet. That's a good sign. But with only 3 minutes to go, I just kind of want to, this might get lost in the sauce. But remember Palantir, right as it was looking the one really bad on Palantir in the overall market, bounced that 50 period, and somebody or something was holding it at the 50 period before. Just back and forth, it was glued to that price right around the 155 level. I think it's Cathie Wood. I feel like Cathie Wood buys on the big nasty dips. Maybe it was Cathie Wood. Who knows?
Cathie Wood is one of the worst money managers.
Somebody liked it.
Yeah.
And somebody bought that at the 50 period again. So I think if we get a chance to snag that 50 period tomorrow, we should try to go grab it. And ideally, you don't revisit it because that would be like $7 down from here. So you don't want to see it get down there. But if it does, we shouldn't ignore it. 2 minutes to go. I should probably prepare for the aftermarket show. Good one. And happy birthday to Sean. He's having burgers tonight. I just kind of want burgers as well.
I like making my own burgers, but we love to go.
Oh, obviously have the barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue.
But Baxter's coming. You can barbecue.
Yeah, we can still barbecue. Yeah, but we're going to go out. The kids want to
say hi to Baxter.
We'll do that. Yeah, I will. All right, thanks. Yeah. All right, with only a minute and a half left, we talked about sort of the market today and what that brought us. And, we're going to close out almost where we opened, you know. I mean, here's the market right here today. So it's going to be a little bit of a downside push in the NQs on the day. Let's still double check it, what's going out on the SPY right now as well. So down here, the Nasdaq and the ES both relatively flat, 0.26, 0.16 there in the ES. Let's have a quick check on gold, see what that's doing. I mean, we were highlighting all of this during the conference, right? Gold made that move down as, you know, maybe the economy's not in as much trouble as we thought. I mean, Fed Chair Powell continued to exercise his demons by saying that, yeah, we are on pace to, you know, make further rate cuts into the end of the year. So we are looking for those 2 more rate cuts coming in, and it looks like that'll be what happens. So GLD right now, downside a little bit maybe on that. We talked about the dollar. I just want to show that quickly. We don't have it on our charts, but I'll show it right here as it just continues to climb here. Strong US dollar right there into the closing, near its highs of the day there on the DXY. So yeah, it's been a good one. I don't want to forget to hit we used to have this automated, so I got to get ready for the countdown coming to you, brought to you by, I'm not sure, we'll figure out who it's brought to you by in just a couple seconds. Right there, brought to you by VinFast. So there it is, the ticker. I'm going to hit the countdown right now as we are now on with only 10 seconds left. VFS, go check them out. I've had some nice moves in Lucid and all that recently as well. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, bingo. We are now closed. Happy Fed Day to everybody. Yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest, but we made it through, man. We want to put up some numbers today, and that was pretty good. So STUBHUB, let me just quickly check before I throw it over to Neil. I just want to see what's going on with STUBHUB right there. Oh boy, we got stopped out right there on that break of STUBHUB, and now it's at the end of the day, $22. There's my stop, and there it goes. It finally thinks about breaking 22 right there as the market closes. STUBHUB, not a great day, man. You came out at 25.50 or so, 25.35. You're going out at $22. Downside for STUBHUB. And don't let everybody fool you. You're going to hear how, actually, this one you won't. STUBHUB's pricing yesterday afternoon was $23.50. Okay, man, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Brendo, Ramin, everybody, Andre, Fabian, everybody involved in the show today. You're about to go see Adair and Neil. So I'm Sean. That's them. This is Trader TV Live. We're coming back tomorrow live at 8:30. We'll chat then.
Thank you very much, Sean. The birthday boy is done, and he's going to celebrate with a burger with the family. Definitely well earned. And we got the market recap show right now, brought to you by Beta Pro by Globex. And I'm going to start. It was Fed Day today, so there was one quote that Chairman Powell had, and again, I'm cherry picking, but when you have a line like, from a policy standpoint, it's challenging to know what to do.
Yeah, that's sad.
That, to me,
that's a choice.
I'm not saying I know what to do, but I'm not the Fed chair, Adara. I'm not at all. That being said, I don't think that we got anything too out of pocket. We got what we expected. We got a 1/4 point cut. They reaffirmed, at least when you look at the dot plot and we have an idea of where everyone's leaning, they reaffirmed that we're going to likely get 2 more 1/4 point cuts by the end of the year. That's what the market was looking for. We did have a little bit of a sell-off initially, and then Powell, as he was on the podium, rallied us back in. So we're pretty much ended where we started at 2 o'clock, which is good when you consider the sell-off. So it's kind of a bear trap, for lack of a better word. You kind of had to stick with the long. So nothing crazy from Chairman Powell there. But yeah, I don't necessarily love that quote. I guess it's good to admit when you're not sure, but you want some confidence, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Who am I to say?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think the thing too with Powell is that I think a lot of people in the chat are not giving this man a good time. I get it. He is very, he comes across sometimes as a little bit more wishy-washy, but you have to be very careful. You don't want to influence the market either, right? You have to be aware of that. And I think he is aware of that. I think this is a man who is savvy, and I'm not like I'm some big Powell bull, whatever, but and he's interesting to watch speak, and I do think that that's something to be aware of, right? The fact that we actually, a lot of his stuff, in my opinion anyway, comes across as him just trying to balance the risks and making sure the Fed remains independent, and I'm open to disagreement with that because I understand it is a bit of a different take, and we all want nuance and differences of opinions. I want to mention as well here, Neil, DNUT, because my favorite quote today that I dropped in the chat was, we know Cash Patel, of course, right? Reportedly involved in the stock. So I just wrote, cash rules everything around me, cream. Because Krispy Kreme and Cash Patel. And I was way too proud of that pun, so I just had to say it again. Apple, though, having some news reported by Nikkei, so shout out to Japan. Apple reportedly testing the production of a foldable phone in Taiwan, targeting 10% shipment growth in 2026 with launching of that foldable model. So apparently foldable model coming from Taiwan, they are reportedly exploring the testing production of that model.
That's not the only thing. Apple obviously going to be in the news, but let's not forget about Meta because tonight they've got the Meta Connect event. Now, obviously, they've been talking a lot about the glasses, and certainly they want to be taking charge of the wearable devices. I think that would be a good look for them. I'm kind of skeptical. I'm not a huge fan of them at all. The notion of them, it doesn't really matter what I think. What I do care about is the notion of buy the dip when we have these kind of product launches or events. And we've seen this time and time again. I'll show you what happened with Apple, but Meta, if it dips, it's just gifting you the 50 period on the daily. And when we talk about Apple with the iPhone release, it was like rally, 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 release, buy the dip, and you're right back to where you were before. I think that's what I'm looking for Meta. Yeah, who cares? I'll ignore it. I'll come in the morning and probably take a little bit of a note of maybe what was announced. But if there is a dip to be bought in the next couple of days in Meta, then I'm your huckleberry, just like we saw with Apple. And you could make the argument that there were some good reasons why Apple dipped back down. There was nothing all that crazy. You could have all that stuff with Android years ago, but ultimately, it's more of the psychology of the trade that matters. And I just want to note here just a couple of things. For anyone that's tuning in for the first time, you're watching this afternoon, the market recap. There's not a lot of earnings. We do have bullish. There's sort of expected to report, and Cracker Barrel as well, much later. So what I want to do is make sure everyone's in the chat, because sometimes we get an opportunity to answer your questions live. And I think we have that chance here. We can certainly go over a few more names. We can talk all day about what to prepare for the rest of the week coming after the Fed. But jump in the chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because it's a subs-only chat. Jump in here, and if you have any questions, like Vic just asked what time is bullish earnings. We see 7 o'clock. So it's very likely that bullish will not report until the aftermarket. And I agree, Bob Stewart, jobless claims, still big. We do care a lot about, and Chairman Powell mentioned this as well, his focus is going to the labor market as well. Shifting from the labor market, not as concerned about inflation. Is there, they
Barrel's out, actually. Yeah, thank you guys for letting us know that in the chat. We were seeing 7 p.m. across sources. That's why I didn't have it yet. Q4 adjusted earnings, 74 cents versus 80 cents expected. Sales, 868 million versus 855.295 million expected. So they did have actually a nice beat on sales. EPS was indeed a miss. Apparently, the revenue actually looks like they worded this is way too detailed of a report for my tired brain. But yeah, so it looks like apparently compared to this quarter last year, which included a $62.8 million benefit, they actually had a 2.9% decrease in revenue. So Neil, even though they did beat on revenue, it looks like there was a 2.9% decline, but you have to remember that was at least partially because they had an extra week last year, it seems like, in this quarter. So that's a bit interesting.
I think the full year sales is the problem here.
Let me look. I
just saw full year sales of Cracker Barrel. They're seeing 3.35 billion to 3.45 billion versus a 3.47 estimate. So, that's the midpoint of that is well under. So the 3.35 to 3.45 billion versus 3.47, that is certainly a miss. You throw in, some of the bad news. They reversed course when it came to the logo and the rebrand and all that stuff, but they did take a bit of a hit for that. And unfortunately, you're seeing it trade down a couple of extra points here. Down 6% in the aftermarket. And remember, this is a stock which is now making some fresh lows. Like, you're breaking down underneath essentially 40. If you get underneath that 49 and hold, like, you're under it now, but it's the aftermarket. If we hold underneath 49, it's a flat bottom break on the daily, and you have no cover until you start looking all the way back to earlier in the year. You got to go all the way back to April, when it was about $40 that the stock had some support. So Cracker Barrel was already under pressure. You don't like that guidance to miss, unfortunately, for them. And that is a pretty decent miss on that revenue guide here for Cracker Barrel. So yeah, they're just taking some more lumps here. To say that the bid got cracked is kind of low-hanging fruit, but it's true.
Lock, stock, and one smoking barrel to the downside.
I love that movie. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is a great movie.
Yeah, I wasn't, the reference was a bit incomplete. I want to mention here Tempest AI because someone's just asking me here, this isn't news, but someone in the chat here was asking me if I have any info on their AI contract news with NIH for $60 million. I don't have anything. I just looked into this, but I always like to let you guys know when I have details. But yeah, CBRL, I mean, people are saying, oh, Sydney Sweeney to the rescue. I'm not sure if that's necessarily what this calls for. I think Cracker Barrel did get a lot of attention with and it's funny too, you know what's interesting, Neil?
It couldn't hurt.
The rebrand wasn't what really got the attention, it was the change of the logo. Because apparently people were already unhappy about the rebrands. Then the logo changes, everyone goes, and then Trump steps in, the logo gets changed, Trump makes his own fun AI logo, featuring a part of the video where he and the Cracker Barrel dude are cheesing. And then they actually announced, hey, the whole rebrand's done. All of that, as people are rightfully calling out in the chat, I mean, I think all jokes aside and all politics aside, it is understandable to think that some of this rebrand money, and I mean, like, you know, in all directions, could be a bit of an issue. But I also wonder, Neil, if that guidance that they have for the year, because they're starting fiscal 26 next quarter. This was Q4 25. So I wonder if now that they've rebranded, I think they are, you know, they've rebranded, I guess, they're back to the old brand. Maybe they're back in people's good graces. I don't know.
You know what I'm kind of wondering?
The guidance changes, but this is a complete, like, guess on my part. I've never been to Cracker Barrel.
You know what I'm kind of feeling here?
What are you feeling?
So, like, you got the rebrand. They went for the changes. They might have known how this was going to go and how their full year was going to go. And they might have maybe they anticipated that things were going to take at least another couple of quarters of a bad turn and wanted some kind of momentum to change it. Maybe that's part of the reason. They're trying to look for that bottom and trying to shake things up. But either way, it doesn't seem to have worked for them. And, you know, we can just call it like it is, right? The guidance was poor in this earnings cycle. In this earnings cycle, you can beat top and bottom, and if the guide is trash, you're going to get moked. And we saw this, like Oracle, I mean, come on, like Oracle literally missed on the top and bottom lines on Oracle. Oops, I'll leave it at Cracker Barrel, because I wanted to get back to Meta. Actually, I wanted to get to Palantir. Let me make sure we talk some Palantir. But Oracle missed top and bottom. They come up with this crazy guide and was flying after the fact. So, I mean, ultimately, I've seen a lot of people in the chat, and I'm not here to call for any heads or anything like this. It's not our place. Like, I can just look at the price action. Stock hasn't been working. Change, maybe we do see some change. I don't know whether that would happen with Cracker Barrel or not, but ultimately, you know, it's a stock that's under pressure. I don't want to forget about what we saw there with Palantir at the end of the day, Adair.
No.
Because there was a moment after the Fed where Palantir was easily breaking down the most.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked like one of the weakest stocks. And then when you were coming with that story where they were getting a deal with the UK government, and it ended as the strongest name out there. I don't want to lose sight of that going into tomorrow, because this is one heck of this is a good-looking candle. Whoa, what did my thing do? Oh, you've got to be kidding me, chart. Come on, chart. Let's go to Dara. My mic is giving issues. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, so I looked into this CEO here of Cracker Barrel. I don't have too much to tell you guys. She's been CEO for less than 2 years. But if I do get other details, I will let you guys know, because I know a lot of people are calling, as Neil said, calling for her head there. I want to talk about Palantir, though, as well, as Neil was saying. Like, this move is why Palantir is such a wild intraday trade, because I feel like this thing will seem so trendy and so normal for so long, and then all of a sudden it does something wild. We have this, and I guess we did have like news as well on this, which I'm sure helped. They have that contract with the UK reportedly, but this bounce here off of almost 160s all the way back to 169.50. And Neil, I'd be watching 169.50 tomorrow because they double topped it on the 3-minute. They cleanly double topped 169.50. I don't think I've seen a double top on the short term that is this clean in many moons. And usually when you see double top like that, maybe you even push higher. Palantir's like, I mean, I had quite the day, guys. I'm a little tired. I'm a chill out. So I think that 169.50, this was not something I hadn't watched, but I'm actually going to write it down for myself for tomorrow because that's an interesting level. I think it's also the accumulation that was going on in Palantir. We ended mentioning this too. Like, the reason why I want to be bullish, and don't at me about the Palantir's PE. Right, like the trend is the trend. I get it. It has a high PE, but when we're talking about momentum, it did a hefty pullback from the high, and then there was accumulation at the 50 period. You could see the buying; it was sort of obvious, and all of a sudden it's breaking away. And then today, that same 50 period moving average come right down into it and end up with this big time reversal. So if this is breaking out from these levels tomorrow, I think this is one that we just got to be prepared for. The thing about a Fed day is,
we get this unique opportunity on a Fed day to be able to see big levels and big tops get put in and see what is holding higher. Like anything that broke out the top, like the quantum names, like INQ has news right now, Adair, apparently. The quantum names were all relatively strong in the afternoon. Anything that was taking out tops in the afternoon, I like, and anything that was not, then I'm going to be a little bit skeptical about. Like, I'm not as big a fan of, say, like an Apple, which did not quite take out those highs. It's tried, but didn't quite take out those highs and break out than you would some of the quantum names or Palantir, which took out that 2 p.m. high. What was the news, INQ?
Yeah, let's take a look here at IONQ. I put it on our screen as well. And again, shout out to Beta Pro by Global X for sponsoring the recap show. IONQ signing a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Department of Energy to advance quantum technologies in space. So again, DOE, MOU with IONQ, way too many abbreviations, but let's look here for IONQ. Keep an eye on other quantum names here as well, of course. So thank you guys in the chat as well for mentioning this. For some reason, I never saw this on my X. Like, I didn't even know one posted this on X, which is weird for a headline like this. I'm keeping an eye on BLSH on my news blotter to see if there is an earnings
on the off chance,
Cracker Barrel really early. But I want to talk as well here, if I may, for a second about our friend Meta, because someone in the chat, Kogangery, I believe, asking here about Meta. I mean, Meta's near all-time highs. This is the daily chart. I lately have been like, like the 30-minute, the hour, want a bit more of a look. I mean, honestly, I really don't have too much here. I think it's pretty obvious there's a double top around 795, which of course is near that 800 level. If I've said this once, I've said it a lot of times. You can tell a lot about spready tickers by how they interact with $100 levels. And like I've seen this a lot. I trade these quite a lot. And like if a spready ticker kind of whips through $100 level like it's nothing, then it really is insignificant. But more often than not, what you'll see is they'll really struggle to either get below or push above these levels. That's mostly intraday. I mean, I'm watching from that type of experience on the book. But with that in mind, Meta can't even get to 800, so we can't even see how it interacts with 800, right? So with that in mind, I think if we get a good Meta Connect tomorrow, that would like require a massive gap up. So I'm not saying we do that, but either way, this is coming into 800. I think it will be of interest. Meta though, I mean, Meta glasses, it's what Meta kind of already does. No offense to.
Would you wear them?
I mean, like my eyes, so my eyes, I don't know if people know how bad my eyes are because I wear contacts. My eyes are so bad that like, people did not believe me when I was a kid. Like everyone thought I was fronting how bad my eyes were. Like
really?
negative like 6.5 on my left, 6 on my right. And yeah, the left eye is so bad, even with visual aids, it's not perfect. So I only say all of this to tell you guys, if I have to spend money on glasses, they're not gonna be eye ones, they're gonna be real ones. And that's that on that. Lots of people made jokes about my Coke bottle glasses. But yeah, there's a reason for that. So all that aside, I would not do that. I don't need to do that. Thank you very much to Sebastian, though, in the chat for the kind words. I'm always really happy to be part of this community because, yeah, go markets, go. I have to ask as well here, Neil, what would you wear these glasses? I know you have your LED.
Nope.
No.
Absolutely. No, see, here's the thing. First of all, I get like maybe I'm not the right generation. It seems a little bit weird to me. Like I'm walking around and you got those glasses on. It's how I would react to someone walking around with glasses that are like could be like filming and all that kind of stuff. I'm not down with that. I think eventually society gets to a point where that's going to be cool and everyone's cool with it, but I'm not there, man. Like, and the joke was, I think Sharif was talking about this. Like, someone walks into a club right now and you're wearing those glasses, everyone's gonna think you're a creeper. So I'm not there yet. I get it. At some point, maybe we will be, but we should be looking forward at least to this event for a market for the market move, because I think we got to talk about what's going on later on in the week, how we're reacting to after the Fed. And there's something big. At the end of the week, I want to remind everybody, this is witching at the end of the week. It's the third Friday of the month, September. Right, so you have some big index movements that are going to happen, the largest of which is, hey, remember Robinhood being added to the S&P 500? That's effective as of Monday morning, which of course means on Friday evening, you're likely to see some good action in Robinhood. And Robinhood, could you tell there was resistance at $119 on Robinhood today? In the morning, at 2 o'clock, and then again at the close, as we were rallying, 119 on a dime. Multiple times, the sellers were kind of winning out at that. And the best part about it is you could break the 119 tomorrow going into this, addition to the S&P 500 over the essentially at the close on Friday, but effective Monday morning, and then get a move into the high. You don't have to break the high for that 119 to work tomorrow. So like Palantir, this one goes on my list for things that I want to be watching going into tomorrow. Darth Trader, thank you so much in the chat for reminding everybody. Earnings aren't necessarily done yet. I know we're waiting for bullish much later on tonight potentially, but Micron has not reported. They report next week. So that is a decent name that we can pay attention to. But again, that's not till next week. I think Robinhood, and I say Robinhood all the time, but AppLovin also being added to the S&P 500. And it's nothing against AppLovin, but...
Yeah, why are we hitting on AppLovin? It's been making all-time highs pretty much every day since the addition to
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, our trading community, I'm almost 100% certain, 99.9% certain, that if I asked everybody, what are you more excited to trade? Which one do you hold in your personal account? What is a more interesting stock between, if I say right now, everyone put a 1 in the chat if you're interested in Robinhood, and a 2 if you're interested in AppLovin. And I have nothing against AppLovin. I'm just throwing it out there. Oh, you can't just put 5 2s. You're supposed to put.
I'm joking.
I'm just saying. And it's nothing against AppLovin, but on Friday, we're going to look first at Robinhood, and second at Robinhood, and third at Robinhood, and fourth at AppLovin. And then you know what? If AppLovin's a really great trade at the close, then throw some pie in my face. I'll hopefully try to take it as well. Jeffrey, that is also the right answer. Jeffrey Cardoza, 3, Webull. You know why that's the right answer? What? Because Webull stinks right now and needs some love. And I know that as someone who actually likes Webull. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about here. That's why we sort of go over, it's why we do the stock visualizer on the show live for everybody so that you can see what everyone's talking about in the chat, and we can talk about what everyone is talking about in said chat. So at the end of the day, nothing against AppLovin, but Robinhood going into the index, all-time highs pretty much right here, right now. But that 119 breakout tomorrow, that's what I'm looking for tomorrow. 119 breakaway. You see the resistance. Obviously, I don't know where it's going to gap to overnight. Let's see how the market reacts to, I'll call it a nothing Powell. I don't want to even call him hawkish or dovish today. I want to call it a nothing burger. He sounded very, I don't know what's the word. You know when an athlete is giving their post-game speech and they're just regurgitating a bunch of stuff that you know they're going to say? I feel like that's what we got from the Fed chart, which is not bad. It doesn't necessarily move the needle at all. So, you know, we're pretty much still looking at the same thing that we were before in terms of expectations with Powell. So you got to move on to individual names, and that's what matters the most.
Yeah, I will say with regards to AppLovin, I always like to give this caveat. So AppLovin is like one of the, and I'm kind of more used to it now, but even today, you had like a $2, $3 spread at some point, and this was trading over 1 million shares pretty much all day. So just be aware, this thing has a dangerous spread, and I'm saying this. So just keep that in mind. The more you watch it, the more comfortable you can get trading it, but like especially with closing trades, I always want to give everyone a caveat. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Because I've seen people in this chat as well, like I don't look at AppLovin for that reason, or like, they're like, this is not.
Oh, it's to each their own.
And I fully understand, like, I always express caution, especially with this stock. It's one that I've now gotten like more comfortable with, of course, but I do fully get why everyone's like, exercise caution. I really think
I know you traded successfully, but I will tell you this right now. There's probably almost no one on the floor that usually would trade a stock like that successfully. So it's like you stick to your lane.
Figure out what works for you, yeah.
Dara, I think, I haven't seen details, but apparently RCAT announced an offering here.
I'm not seeing that. My ex is like not having
so
today.
A public offering of common stocks, but I see no terms disclosed.
It's vague. That's
so it's pretty,
what is all I have.
It's very vague. So they've announced an offering here with RCAT. Not looking at 11% to the downside here. And again, no specifics, like no terms disclosed. So the drone technology company, which, hey, a lot of people like. I mean, this is a stock that's been working recently. I mean, some buyers on the dip. On almost every single dip. I don't wonder if you get something closer to like the $9.50, $10 range. Sometimes it's a good chance to scoop it up if it's a momentum stock after the offering, but no details here. RCAT with an offering. It had been doing pretty well. I'd argue was more or less in line with the market, dip and then rip, but this was a stock that I would have normally put into the bucket of, hey, it's looking good because it broke out that 2 o'clock high. Like the Fed high, when the market's tanked at 2 o'clock or it pulled back at 2 o'clock, this broke it out and was holding those tops. So unfortunately, not very good for them. Maybe you shift to one of the other names in the space. possibly. Maybe Archer does a little bit more, for sure. And Ian Rispetto, you better believe Dialon is long Hood. Why? Because Hood is the greatest fintech company in the world. Who are the 5 greatest fintech companies in the world? Hood. Actually, I can't even say that I believe that's true. But it's not a rapper. Yeah, Robin Hood, obviously going to be interesting at the end of the day. But yeah, no thanks on. I'm kind of John. No thanks on RCAT. I've never bought it. I've never invested in it. I can tell you. What I will say is, when we look at it from a trading standpoint, when I see observable patterns, or when we see observable patterns, like, hey, there's buyers at the higher lows in here, and you have a theoretical higher low that would come in the 9.5 range at the 50-period moving average, like kind of a prior area of consolidation. I tend to look at things like that and look for like little swing trade opportunities, right? Like, you're looking for what's next. Like, I can tell you, hey, RCAT's down and it's still going down, or we can kind of look for what we might do tomorrow and the next day, right? It's the end of the week. Maybe you want to position yourself for next week with RCAT, or maybe find a sympathy play out there. That's what it's all about. Take the information and then try to run with it for sure. So yeah, good look. No, sorry, not a good look for RCAT. Not a good look either for Cracker Barrel, which was the earnings name that we had. But I do want to take us back to what is brass tacks, which overall, this market, and if you look at the candle that we're going to close with, it's a reversal candle on the Qs, probably the same thing with the ES. Anytime you have a dump like that gets bought up on a Fed day, where we got more or less what was expected, that puts me in more of a bullish tone, at least to start off with tomorrow. And I've already mentioned Palantir, we're probably going to like tomorrow. But the Qs, like the reversal candle, no shocks out of the Fed. I know we're supposed to have the president speaking, but we haven't really gotten anything. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Nor do I.
Maybe he's just happy we got the quarter point.
Yeah, I spent a really long time looking, truthfully, for those interviews, and it doesn't really make sense for him to speak. Yeah, sorry, Trump. Doesn't really make sense for him to speak either day, because tomorrow he will be on the Air Force One. So, like, I know he's done Air Force One interviews. To my knowledge, he has not done Air Force One, like, TV interview, though. Like, he usually just does it with the gaggle. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. Of course, I'll let you guys know if I have any details on Trump and where he will appear and if he will not appear. But it's also worth noting, guys, you know, for someone who loves using the word too late to Powell, yes, Trump is very rarely on time for events and for things and for speaking engagement. I'm sorry, Trump, don't call me rude. I'm just restating a fact, right? So that is something to be aware of as well. I'm not saying like, oh, you know, the interview will be 2 hours late tonight. I don't think that, but I think it is worth noting that people are mentioning volatility and bullish. There are no earnings. If I had earnings, I would obviously let you guys know 7 right away. But thank you all like so much for the kind words and for the support in the chat in general. Like, I'm always so happy to be here and be part of this community. And if you guys want more infographics like the stuff I did with Open Door, like, let me know. I'm always willing to do deep, like way too excessive deep dives on market-related stuff and get you guys the info you need. Because, yeah, I mean, also if anyone knows Eric Jackson and can tag that, shout it out for sure.
I have to say this because this is entirely true what a lot of people are saying. Mike Peter Ryder, public speakers do that to get the people more excited. That is entirely true.
That's
like,
fair as well.
Don't show up on time. There's also, I mean, performers, you ever go to a concert? Like, the headliner is not going to... when you think the headliner is coming on, they're not coming on at that time. That's just, it's just how it goes.
And then complain about the airport is that they're the reason they're late. Because that's what happened when I saw Russ.
It just makes more, but it makes more of an entrance. And on top of that, let's all be real for a second, because at Trader TV Live, we try to keep it real at all times. If you were the president of the United States, you know everyone's waiting for you. You're going to play that a little bit. You're going to play it a little bit. I'm just saying. That being said, we don't keep you waiting here at Trader TV Live. At 2 o'clock when the Fed comes on, we're live and locked loaded for you at 8:30 in the morning, well before the market is open. We are consistent with it because that's what we're about. The other thing that we are pretty consistent with around here, Adara, is the roll call.
Yes, but we're early. I think we got like 3 minutes to go.
Well, my daughter's got swimming tonight.
That's fair, okay.
And my wife is on a trip, and my parents aren't here, so I have to make sure she's fed and on the way. So I really got to make sure I make my train. Yeah. No, it's just one of those. Like, we have activities, and you know, it's family life and all that kind of stuff. And I actually really enjoy it when it's like I call it daddy-daughter time while my wife's out of town, because you know, it's just a lot of. I love taking her to all of her activities.
That's awesome.
Like, we were at Girl Guides last night. It was like the first one, so she's just starting Girl Guides, which is awesome. But for anyone out there that doesn't know, we do roll call, and that's in the chat, where everybody that's in the chat, and to be in the chat, you need to be a subscriber. So hit that subscribe button right about now. jump in here, and here's what I want everyone to do. Sometimes I'll say, give a big thanks to the entire team. We have a fantastic team. We love everybody here. I can say Fabian and Ramin, especially, bless you, Ramin, and Andre, and Dara. Obviously, Obi and the Midday Boys, Joe, Sharif, Brendo, and of course, I could say that. However, what I want everyone to type in for roll call is happy birthday, Sean. He's already left, but it's Sean's birthday today, if you're just tuning in now. So everyone jump in there, say happy birthday, Sean, and then we'll blow this one off. And you're going to get Adara reading your name in rapid fashion. Let's get some roll call.
Yeah, we are, guys. Get in there in the chat. I do speak quickly. The markets move quickly, so do these names in the chat. Cootie Love, Piano Hooks, more on Wall Street, Mike Peter Ryder, Andrew Chow, Timon, Anurag. I saw it. Neil Roberts in there, North Dallas, Sebastian, Mike Peter Ryder, so many beats. Dinkelberg, Darth Trader, Frank Trades, D. Westermeyer, thank you so much for your high vibrations. Pitchbull, Explorer 12, Jamorty, Death God, A Day in the Life, more on Wall Street, Ho Wa-Chen, Ian Rispetto, Joseph Brown, Aditya, Grandpa Trades, Zuckerberg, I mean, really apt there with Meta tonight. Los Pollos Hermanos, Nadim, Cootie Love, the Stock Professor, Mr. Jones Speaks, 1320 Wolf. We've got 247 Chai Guy, Marakis, Derek Thompson, Trader Gibby, Kelby Buckley, Big 40 Nephew, CompuCare Team, and thank you so much to Neil, Sean, Sharif, Joe, Brendo, Fabian, Ramin, Andre. Happy birthday, Sean. Thank you, chat. Happy Fed Day. Happy Powell Day to all. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. It's another day of markets. It's another day of trading. Will we be bullish or bearish? I don't know, but either way, bullish earnings are going to be unwatched.
That's right. I would mic drop Fabian would get mad if I actually dropped that mic, so I'm not going to do it. What we are going to do is be right back tomorrow morning. You know how we roll. This is Trader TV Live. Your market recap show is brought to you by Beta Pro by GlobeX. Rest up. Let's get that post-Fed trade tomorrow. See you tomorrow, guys.
See y'all.